on the ethical story of the
See,
conditions, particularly the medical conditions.
right. See, AI as a model would only have access to the data that you give it. So, in case if you have any confidential information, so to expose it to AI, before exposing it to AI, your personal identifier PII data, before giving it to the AI, you should have certain processes or internal to your IT team that this data should be masked all the time. You have to ensure that your data is secured within your organization before giving it to the before sending using that data to the model. In fact, even in banking industry also, in case if models are being built, models are not given with any confidential information. Models are given with masked data or encrypted data. It ensure that the data engineer or data scientist would ensure data engineer would ensure that data is already masked and PII data is not available, and data scientist will not accept any data if it is not masked or which is not encrypted. So thus checks are being done in real time industry.
I do agree with that, but there is a background story to it on the health HL7 platforms and mirth, which is also involved into it. Don't we feel that we have to again mask the complete platform before it gets exposed properly and what are the threats?
Having said anything, ethics are something that is is our top priority of an AI model. In case if we find that anything in a model, there is a threat to the basic necessities of an human, then definitely it has to be uphold for a while until we think of a solution for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we'll move on to the next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable info presentation on AI. Moving ahead, I now welcome Mr. Saurarai, Vice President of Engineering and Machine Learning, Data Foundry, for his keynote on unified data analytics. So, Mr. Saurarai is currently the Vice President Engineering and Machine Learning in Data Foundry. He has over 23 years of experience in life sciences and healthcare. Sauraroy has worked for the past decade as an enterprise architect and is well versed in AWS, Azure, and GCP. He was previously with Paraxel, HP, and Philips before joining Data Foundry. So, please.
Good morning, everyone here. So I'll try my best to keep you awake as much as possible. Today I'll probably talk about unified data analytics and platform. Can you turn on? So unified data analytics, why data? What is the focus here in unified data analytics? It's a data. Focus on data. Traditionally, they always wanted your money. Now they want your data. From anybody who's calling up to sell you anything, if they get nothing, they still want your data. So data is gold, right? So I think we we have plenty of jargons in the industry. I will also try to bring perspective to some of the jargons. But unified data analytics, I think it's a fairly self-explainable term. So you have data and then you're trying to unify it and get analytics on top of it. So let's see what is the need for unification. Okay, so I think a lot of people might have seen this. Traditionally, we started with 4 Vs, 5 Vs, and now we have 6 Vs and 7 Vs finally. So I'm not going to go through each of them, but this is fairly common. You can Google. I'll go through some of them, which probably will resonate with most of you here. So these are the challenges with the data that we deal with. The first is variety. So data happens in silos. It happens in your line of business applications. It is happening on social media and probably everywhere that you touch. And then they are happening in different shapes and forms. They're happening in databases of your applications. They are happening in as tweets on Twitter. They're happening as posts on Facebook. The whole documents, if you consider office documents, PDFs, you talk about audio, video, they're all data. So there essentially the need for the unification comes in because the forms are so disparate, it's not, you're not able to process it in one go in a very simple manner. So then there's this velocity. So we all, this is an information age. We want it available on the right time when you actually need it, and you want this huge amount of data to be processed as quickly as possible. Then there is this volume. So we already know there is an information explosion. Every organization and their ecosystem of suppliers, contractors, and so on, there's an explosion of data, and that data has to be managed. Then there is veracity, variability, and then obviously you want to visualize it. You need to understand what your data is. You want to make sure that your data is correct and complete. And finally, the heart of it, why you're doing all this is to derive value. What is value for data? Something that conveys something to you based on which you can eventually take an informed decision. So that's the value you want to derive out of all this, the 7 characteristics or the challenges that you have of data that you overcome, is to get the value out of it. So unified data analytics platform, you see I spoke about variety, so the formats I just put out here for convenience. What comprises the data analytics platform is the various forms of data in this form of image, audio, video, text, tables, column, markups, and so on. And then you have velocity. You absorb that data, you ingest that data from variety of sources, be it social media, your office documents, literature databases, journals, and so on, and applications, of course. And then you process them. And then that leads you, when you ingest, it leads you to a huge challenge of how you manage this, organize this data so that you can retrieve them in the form at the time that you really need it. So veracity, variability I did speak about, is about completeness and accuracy and consistency of data. And finally is the visualization. You understand your data, what it is trying to convey, and then drive those actionable insights on which you can take decisions. So if you see the variety of data formats, you have structured data. So what is structured data? Typically, if you think, we always think of tables, databases. Any application that you use stores data most often in relational databases. You create tables. We have other forms, columnar databases, and so on nowadays. But that's essentially structured data. Unstructured data comprises of your social media, audio, video, documents. All of those we spoke about. Semi-structured data, it could be events, it could be a website data, it could be data going out of your sensors, your medical devices, which has some form of structure, and some part it could be proprietary also. But then you still, if you get to a understanding of the data, you can eventually extract some value out of it. So these are the 3 broad varieties that you have. Oh, and then we're unifying it. We put it like a data lake. So you bring the data and you try to unify so that you can get some analytics out of it. And this is also how traditionally we had been doing. How do you ingest data from variety of applications, variety of sources? So most of it, if you think of Twitter, Facebook, and others, websites, events, they are mostly in the form of streams. Even IoT devices, mobile devices, you can consider there as streams. And then you capture those streams and store them in the form that you do, and then process it to extract information out of it. ETL, so it is ETL and ELT, some jargons has been around for last 20 years. Extract, transform, and load, and then we do extract, load, or transform. These two technologies or patterns are also been there for quite some time. Change data capture, so CDC, that's essentially extracting whatever you did today and you stored in your databases. Can you extract the data on a differential day-to-day basis? And this has to happen across multiple databases. And then you clean them, transform them, and process them. So that is what velocity is about. So this is a slide on how you organize data, and I'll talk about the history. So traditionally, we always like a centralized, well-governed store or well-governed approach where everything is at one place and we govern it. Traditionally, we have been using data warehouses. The challenge with data warehouses were that we had accumulated so much data that we could not process it. It was an overwhelming task to get anything done quickly in time. So what happened? We then came up with several other notions. We came out with a pattern called data lake. So what does data lakes do? Say you bring your data in whatever form and structure. Warehouses typically would be relational or columnar format. That's an extension of a large database, if you want to say. But lakes, they don't tell you the data has to be in this format. They could be structured, they could be unstructured, or semi-structured, doesn't matter. You could bring in, it's something like a landing area of your data, wherever you are eventually accumulating from variety of sources. And then you process it from that data lake. Now here you see there is another term called data marts. So they originated out of warehouses where you said we focus on a particular segment or dimension of data or an application of data. So a data mart could be your customers, it could be your patients, it could be hospitals, it could be organizations. So you're looking at one specific aspect of data or one topic, if you want to call it. So you're looking at that when you do a mart. And then that's a similar representation of analytics done on a line of business data. That's what a data mart really does. And then we have some more technology, some more buzzwords coming in. They call it a data mesh. So what is a data mesh then? So eventually they realized we can't move so much of data around. Okay, but we still want to have analytics done out of that. So how do we do it? We said, okay, we don't move the data, we process it where it resides, and we surface the intelligence, right? So, and then you have AI/ML, which is, you use a variety of techniques to process data which is not processed using traditional query or, pattern mechanisms that you have. Then you use AI/ML. So unified platform typically uses all or a combination of these. It basically depends on what you are trying to do. So as a unified data platform, I might use a lake, I might as well use a warehouse, I as well might use a mesh. Because no system is closed. You will have customers have different requirements, you yourself would have another requirements, your products will put certain other constraints for you. So you could pick whatever is appropriate for or fit for the purpose. That's what this slide essentially wants to convey. Data mesh, AI/ML, warehouse, lakes, marts. These are some of the common technologies or buzzwords that go around when you talk about data manipulation and data processing. So veracity and variability. So we want to talk about how to ensure data quality. How do we clean data? So you could get data, and then one of the things is you could do some kind of checks to see if the data is accurate, the data is clean. Now, one of the most common things that happen is sometimes data is missing. Okay, and you can't really get a model out because your data is missing. So what do you do? One typical approach is to build a statistical model or an ML model of the data that you have and use it to predict what the data could be at the missing place. So that's one way of how you substitute missing data. Otherwise, you have to remove those elements or those rows of data completely. So that's about cleansing, and enriching is about connecting data from multiple sources. Source of truth. So you might have data coming in, the same data might come from multiple systems. So as an organization or a business owner, you have to define what is the original or what is the correct system from where I will accept this data. So let's say it's a customer data. So do you accept it from a CRM? Do you accept it from a CLM? Which is the most authentic source of data that you could trust? And for every domain, you have to go and do that. And then it is about processing, ensuring consistency, integrity, and most importantly, anomaly detection. So if you are actually looking at your data, you also have to detect if there is noise coming in, if data has got corrupted or not being fed correctly. So those comes in anomaly detection. You figure out data which are inconsistent in the data sets that you have. So I'll pick on unstructured data. Primarily, I've put it around the things that we do, some of the things we do here. And it's all centered around documents, textual data. I've not covered audio and video here. So vision, I think some speaker mentioned about machine vision. So one of the simplest things that you do is you take a picture and then you want to convert that picture into a document and you want to edit it. So that's OCR, character recognition. Ingestion of documents of various forms and structuring them. So you do a document analysis, be able to predict what kind of document. If somebody uploads you a document, you want to tell what kind of document this is. Is this a legal document, a business document, a clinical document? Which kind of document it is? That's the classification. Then from, let's say, NLP, we do natural language processing. You do entity recognition. You are essentially building a product, and then you have customer reviews and all of that. Let's say on social media, somebody tells or does a wow on your product, or somebody is expressing that probably we can have this kind of a feature and it will help us deliver better. So identifying from a tweet or from a Facebook post or from a literature document where something of your interest has been discussed about is essentially entity recognition. What they're saying, what they're talking about, and what are they saying, and the relationship between all of that. So that's relationship extraction. Language translation. You have a Japanese article written in kanji, or you have a Spanish document, you can't read it. Google does that, or most browsers does it, right? You translate at runtime and you read it. That's another kind of NLP exercise that you do. Then the final thing that we do is essentially around NLU, which is natural language understanding. If you give me a document, can I read that document and understand? Yes. Can the machine do so? This is an attempt for a machine to understand what the document is talking about. So you have a lengthy document and you want a gist of it, let's say in a page. You want to know what the document is trying to convey. So that's what summarization it. It summarizes. Q&A, I think ChatGPT has all this work already. So you could do Q&A, you can ask questions, get answered. Then you have something called semantic engineering, or you say ontologies. Ontologies are nothing but concepts. You model your businesses on concepts. It's very critical for whether you want to build a data warehouse or data lake or do any analytics on top of it. You have to define the key concepts of your business. Then only analytics can come to fruit. And then obviously is to search. Ultimately, you want to read or you want to have the information you want, so you should be able to search, pretty much like Google does. And then the final piece is around visualization. So one of the key things that you do in visualization is identify new patterns in the data, something that your eyes have or any human eye would have missed. You're able to discover new patterns, discover new intelligence. That's also what AI ML does in a way, right? But discovering that in a huge data set is very challenging. And visualization, a proper visualization, be able to dissect data, turn it around, look at different patterns by, pivoting like Excel does, pivoting and looking at how the rest of the things follow. Regression, those kind of things, a visualization should be able to do, to mine data and tell you what you don't know about it. The other one, which pretty much everybody does, is around reporting, business intelligence reporting. You define data, you define patterns out of data that you already know. Your sales forecast or sales delivery, you want to see month on month how you're doing. So that's BI reporting. So that is pretty much I had, and thank you for your patience in hearing me. I would like to leave you with this video. You can enjoy what happens when data is united. Data in various forms and shapes are united, and then essentially you get to drive the intelligence out of it.
बैलेंस निकल रहा है क्या अपन मेजर बैलेंस 38,506 हाँ अच्छा एक बार बिल चेक करो देन नॉट फिनिश हुई 38,000 इसमें अपडेट तो पूरा
Sorry.
नहीं मार्च में भी वही सामान लिया है वो डाल दो एक बार चेक करो मैं पूरा तो ये पेमेंट किया है
It's a
हमने
very
91,000 का एक आखिरी पेमेंट किया है
YouTube video, almost 20
ये
years
70
back.
के बाद एक 91 का भी
It's
पेमेंट
still
किया है
relevant today.
देखो आप
You can enjoy.
नहीं जा
मार्च का पेमेंट मैंने अपडेट नहीं किया है
हाँ इसलिए होगा जो मार्च का पेमेंट निकाले
I think our mail it has dropped.
91,000 का मुझे अच्छे से याद है पेमेंट किया है
Ask, I can try and answer.
ये 5 मार्च वो कार्ड है नॉट ओटीपी का पता लगा
That is true. That is true. So essentially,
अभी मैं लेटर
like for AI to work, you can have models. So
Okay,
basically, AI is again to see what. See, if you already know what you have to do, it's robotics or robotics process automation, as you would call it, or any form of automation. However, if you want to discover something which you haven't discovered in your data yet, that requires application of AI or ML. So even if you want to forecast something, so what happens is you will have you will discover the patterns that exist in your data. Based on that, you forecast. Now, traditionally, what we do is we define features in the data.
इसके
But
बाद
then
तो
if you
बिल
look
जो
at what the model derives, it probably is capable of defining 200 parameters of your data. Okay. Now, there's also this debate about, can you explain what it just predicted? So that's explainable AI. It's not easy, given the amount of computation that it does, to explain logically. We end up in some situations like this where customer says, can you explain what it is predicting? And we have 170 stages of how the decision has been progressing. It's really very difficult unless there's someone on the other side who also understands what the model is doing. It's not straightforward. So explainable AI is very hard at this point of time. Maybe we will get better with it, but today it is a really difficult task to do. Okay, thank you very much.
28448. 28448.
Pizza Palace, guaranteed to have in 30 minutes or it's free. This is Mary. May I
Thank
take
you,
your
sir,
order?
for giving your.
Mary. Yes, I'd like to order.
This is Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you for calling again, sir. I share your national identification number is 610-204-999-8-45-54610. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I see you live at 736 Montrose Court, but you're calling from your cell phone. Are you at home?
I'm just leaving work, but I'm.
Oh, we can deliver to Bob's Auto Supply. That's at 175 Lincoln Avenue, yes?
No, I'm on my way home. How do you know all this stuff?
We just got wired into the system, sir.
Oh, well, I'd like to order a couple of your double meat special pizzas.
Sure thing. There'll be a new $20 charge for those, sir.
What do you mean?
Sir, the system shows me that your medical records indicate that you have high blood pressure and extremely high cholesterol. Luckily, we have a new agreement with your national health care provider that allows us to sell you double meat pies as long as you agree to waive all future claims of liability.
What?
Do you agree, sir? You can sign the form when we deliver, but there is a charge for processing. The total is $67 even.
$67?
Well, that includes the delivery surcharge of $15 to cover the added risk to our driver of traveling through an orange zone.
I live in an orange zone?
Now you do. Looks like there was another robbery on Montrose yesterday. You could save $48 if you ordered our special Sprout Submarine combo and picked it up yourself. Comes with tofu sticks. Those are very tasty, sir. Good value, too.
But I want double meat.
Well, I'm sure you can afford the $67 then. You just bought those tickets to Hawaii. They weren't cheap, eh? Oh, but I see you checked out the budget beach bum at the library last week. Up to you, sir.
All right. I'll get the Sprout subs.
Good choice, sir. Gotta watch that waist if you're hitting the beach, eh? 42 inches. Wow. Man, I'd say tofu and sprouts is like required.
That's how much?
Just between you and me, there's a $3 off coupon in this month's Total Men's Fitness magazine. Your wife Betty subscribes to that, right? Anyhow, clip that and it's $19.99 even. Whoa, looks like you maxed out on all your credit cards. Bring cash, okay?
Want to stop this from happening?
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable insight to us. And now, take this as an opportunity. Let me felicitate Mr. Ramakrishna Garu and Saura Roy Garu by Sridhar Garu, by Krishna Reddy Garu.
Let's have a group pick. Thank you.
I now invite Ms. Lakshmi M., President Designate ITAAP, to present the vote of thanks.
On behalf of IT Association of Andhra Pradesh and also the Godavari chapter, I sincerely extend a big thanks to for the big success of this first part, and thank you to the dignitaries on the stage and all our industry colleagues and the rest of you. Thank you for being a part of this session.
ITAAP to present the vote of
And specifically, I would like to start thanking with Mr. Krishna Reddy, Mr. Sridhar Kosraju, and Kumar for setting the stage and the context for this conclave. And
on behalf of IT
big thanks to
Association
our
of
guest
Andhra Pradesh
speakers,
and also
Mr.
the
Ramraj Garu,
Godavari
who
chapter.
talked about AI penetration into the industry and how important it is for the industry to adopt for us to stay relevant in the business. And then, of course, Mr. Saurav Rai's keynote address was about the unified data platform and the 7 V's of data. And we just saw when everything gets unified, what happens to us. Thank you very much. We have an exciting AI panel discussion and analytics. Please stay here and let's enjoy those. Thank you so much.
అక్కడ ప్రాబ్లం లేదు No, it's not the ये वाला जो इन्वॉइस है ना हाँ इसमें जो लेट वो बताने नहीं जा रहे पर फिर भी कौन से नहीं इसलिए वो आपने गाड़ी यूज करो कौन सी करनी क्या करनी ये करेक्ट इसको सेव करके नहीं किया था पहले पहले वाला नहीं जो आपने पहले निकाला वो सही नहीं किया मैं आपको दिखाया इसका मैं ना पीरियड तनाव नहीं अंतना जल्दी से वापस तो पीरियड को निकालो ना उसमें ऑप्शन रहता नहीं ऑप्शन से निकाला तो यहाँ पर आप जब ये कर रहे थे ऑलरेडी ठीक है ये बोलना ये है हमारे काफी है
చిన్న బ్యాగ్ అయితే లోపలికి వచ్చేసి ఉంటాయి షాల్స్ అదేంటుంది వచ్చినాయి లోపలికి వచ్చినాయి
సరే ఇది ఒకసారి అయిపోయినా ఉంది చూద్దాం లాస్ట్ లో చూద్దాం
సార్ ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెక్ చేయించండి
మనకి ఇంకా యాక్టివిటీ లేదు కాబట్టి అది చూద్దాం
అట్లీస్ట్ గిఫ్ట్స్ వచ్చేసినాయి అట్లీస్ట్ షాల్స్
ఐడియా అవుతుంది
మీరు ఒకరు మాట్లాడి సరిపోతుంది ఎందుకంటే టైం కూడా షార్ట్ అవుతుంది
ఇంటి ఒకసారి బాగా చూసుకోండి అది చిన్న వయసు పెట్టింది ఇంకా అక్కడికి ఖాళీ పెట్టాను
ఈ షార్ట్స్ కూడా ఒకటి రెండు చేస్తారనమాట ఏమన్నా స్పెసిఫిక్ పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నాయండి
ఒకళ్ళే మాట్లాడేది టైం తక్కువ ఉంది
ఓకే నమస్తే అండి. సో ఐటీ అసోసియేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ఈ అసోసియేషన్ సారథ్యంలో మేము గోదావరి రీజన్లో ఏఐ అండ్ అనలిటిక్స్ సంబంధించి ఒక కాంక్లేవ్ని నిర్వహిస్తున్నామండి. దీంట్లో ప్రధానంగా ఏంటంటే ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో ఉన్న ప్రధానమైన ఐటీ కంపెనీకి సంబంధించిన అందరు ప్రతినిధులు ఇక్కడ విజయవాడ నుంచి, విశాఖపట్నం నుంచి, కాకినాడ, గోదావరి నుంచి, తిరుపతి నుంచి కూడా CEOs అందరూ ఇక్కడికి రావడం జరిగింది. అంటే కరెంట్గా ఇప్పుడు ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్, మీకు తెలిసిన చాట్ GPT ఇలాంటి టెక్నాలజీస్ బాగా ప్రొలిఫరేట్ అవ్వడం, వాటి ద్వారా ఐటీ కంపెనీస్ వీటిని ఎలా బెనిఫిట్గా ఉపయోగించుకోవాలి, తద్వారా ప్రొడక్టివిటీని ఎలా పెంచుకోవాలి అన్నది ఐటీ కంపెనీలందరికీ కూడా ఎడ్యుకేట్ చేయడంలో పార్ట్ కింద ఐటీ అసోసియేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ అందరినీ కూడా ఒక చోటుకి తీసుకొచ్చి ఈరోజు మన కాకినాడలో హోటల్ సరోవర్ పోర్టులో ఈ కాంక్లేవ్ నిర్వహిస్తున్నారండి. ఇప్పుడు మాకు వచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ప్రకారం 135 మంది డిఫరెంట్ ప్రతినిధులు ఇక్కడ హాజరయ్యారు. ప్రధానంగా CEOs, అలాగే ఐటీ కంపెనీల యొక్క ఎంప్లాయీస్, స్టార్టప్ కంపెనీస్ ఇందులోకి రావడం జరిగింది. సో ఈ కాంక్లేవ్ ప్రధాన ఉద్దేశం ఏంటంటే ఐటీని టైర్ 2 సిటీస్లో కూడా టెక్నాలజీ, AI లాంటి టెక్నాలజీ వచ్చేటప్పుడు ఎక్కడి నుంచి అయినా కూడా మనం హై ఎండ్లో కూడా వర్క్ చేయొచ్చు, తద్వారా ప్రొడక్టివిటీని తెచ్చుకోవచ్చు అన్నట్టుగా మనం ప్లాన్ చేస్తామండి. మాతో పాటు ఇక్కడ ఐటీ అసోసియేషన్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ గారు, పాస్ట్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ గారు, అలాగే అప్కమింగ్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ మేడం రామకృష్ణ గారు, అలా డిఫరెంట్ ఇండస్ట్రీ ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ కూడా ఇక్కడ ఉన్నారు. పర్టికులర్గా మన గోదావరి రీజియన్కి వచ్చిన ఒక బిగ్గెస్ట్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏంటంటే మనం విశాఖపట్నం ఐటీ డెస్టినేషన్ కింద తయారు చేస్తున్న ఈ తరుణంలో DR కింద, అంటే ఏదన్నా ప్రకృతి ఉపద్రవం ఏదన్నా వచ్చి విశాఖపట్నం లాంటి ప్లేస్లో ఏమన్నా ఈ ఐటీ సర్వీసెస్కి ఏమైనా ఇబ్బంది అయితే, తద్వారా కాకినాడ, రాజమండ్రి లాంటి ప్లేస్ని ఇమీడియట్గా మనం ఒక కంటిన్యూన్సీ DR ప్లేస్ కింద కూడా ఉపయోగించుకోవడానికి మనకి చాలా ఉపయోగం ఉంటుందండి. అందుకని కూడా ఈ 3 రీజన్స్లో విశాఖపట్నం, మన గోదావరి, తర్వాత విజయవాడ, అలాగే రాయలసీమ తిరుపతిలో కూడా దీన్ని ఐటీని ప్రధానంగా డెవలప్ చేసే ప్రాజెక్ట్ కింద ప్రభుత్వం పనిచేస్తుంది. తద్వారా ఐటీ అసోసియేషన్ కూడా అందరినీ ఎడ్యుకేట్ చేస్తున్నాం అనమాట. సో ఇది మెయిన్ ఉద్దేశం, ఈ ఈవెంట్ యొక్క మెయిన్ ఉద్దేశం.
मैडम तो नहीं यार, वो कौन गोविंद गारू की मम्मी पंडू हाँ बोले देखते अरे एक वो है, नहीं वो करना है, ये
మాలాంటి వాళ్ళందరూ అబ్రాడ్లో పనిచేసి ఆంధ్ర ప్రాంతం నుంచి వచ్చిన వాళ్ళందరూ హైదరాబాద్, బెంగళూరు లాంటి మెట్రో నగరాలు, మహానగరాలు అందరూ వెళ్ళి అక్కడ పనిచేస్తారు. కానీ ఐటీ, ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్, ఇంటర్నెట్ ఫెసిలిటీస్తో మన ప్రాంతం నుంచి కూడా పనిచేయడానికి ఫస్ట్ టూరిజం, వైజాగ్ అనేది మంచి బ్యూటిఫుల్ డెస్టినేషన్ అన్నమాట. తర్వాత ఈ అనుబంధ సంస్థ వైజాగ్లో ప్రధాన మనం డెవలప్ చేసుకుంటే ఐటీకి ప్రభుత్వం ఇచ్చే సహకారం నిజంగా బాగుందండి. ఎందుకంటే ఆ సహకారం లేకపోతే మేము ఇక్కడ ఈ యాక్టివిటీ అంతా చేయలేము. అందరికీ కూడా ఇండస్ట్రియల్ పవర్ అయ్యి ఇచ్చారు, లేకపోతే ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఇచ్చారు, గవర్నమెంట్ చేస్తుంది. అయితే ఐటీ పరిశ్రమ సొంతంగా ఎదగలిగిన పరిశ్రమ కొద్దిపాటి సహకారం అందిస్తే తను ఎదిగి ఎంతో మందికి ఉద్యోగ అవకాశాలు ఇచ్చే పరిశ్రమ అండి. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గోదావరి రీజియన్లో ఇక్కడ డైరెక్ట్గా ఇక్కడున్న కంపెనీస్తో ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ 5,000 మంది ఎంప్లాయీస్ ఉంటారండి ఇప్పుడున్న కంపెనీలో. ఇక్కడ కాకుండా అంటే ప్రధానమైన నగరాల్లో కంపెనీల్లో పనిచేస్తూ ఇక్కడ మన ప్రాంతంలో వర్క్ ఫ్రమ్ హోమ్ కింద వర్క్ చేసేవాళ్ళు ఇంకొక 8,000 మంది ఉంటారనమాట మన రీజియన్లో. అంటే ఇంతమంది ఎంప్లాయీస్కి ఈ పరిశ్రమ ఆధారభూతమైంది. ఇప్పుడు గవర్నమెంట్ నుంచి కూడా మంచి సహకారం అందుతుంది. ఇంకా మంచి సహకారం అందడం ద్వారా మేము సబ్సిక్వెంట్గా ఈ పరిశ్రమని ఆంధ్రాలో ఇంకా బాగా డెవలప్ చేద్దామని అంటే ఐటీ పరిశ్రమలు అనేదండి ప్రధానంగా వాళ్ళ బిజినెస్ మీద ఆధారపడి ఉంటుంది అనమాట. గవర్నమెంట్ ఓన్లీ మన మట్టి లాంటిది. మొక్క ఐటీ పరిశ్రమ ఏ కంపెనీ ఆ కంపెనీ ఒక మొక్క. కానీ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇనిషియల్ ఫెసిలిటేషన్, ఫెర్టైల్ ల్యాండ్ లాంటి ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డిఫరెంట్ క్లస్టర్స్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసి అనంతపురం నుంచి, గోదావరి రీజన్ నుంచి, వైజాగ్ నుంచి ఐటీ పరిశ్రమకి ప్రాంతాల డెవలప్మెంట్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇంకా మరికొంచెం ప్రోత్సాహకాలు, ఇన్సెంటివ్స్ కొంచెం ఇవ్వాల్సి ఉంది, అది కూడా వాళ్ళు క్లియర్ చేస్తున్నారు. క్లియర్ చేయడం ద్వారా తద్వారా ఇంకా మేము అగ్రెసివ్గా ఈ పరిశ్రమ ఎదగడానికి గవర్నమెంట్ సహకారం, ప్రధానమైన సహకారం ఇలాంటి కాంక్లేవ్స్ లాంటి ప్రధానంగా పెట్టడం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రీసెంట్గా మనం పెట్టిన గ్లోబల్ ఇన్వెస్టర్ సమ్మిట్ పెట్టాం కదండి. గ్లోబల్ ఇన్వెస్టర్ సమ్మిట్ అనేది చాలా బాగా దానికి మనకి పుష్ ఇచ్చింది అనమాట. ఎంతో మంది ఫారిన్ లో ఉన్న మా క్లయింట్స్ కూడా గ్లోబల్ సమ్మిట్ ఏదో జరిగిందట కదా, అందులో బాగా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయ్యారట కదా అని చెప్పి మాకు చెప్పడం జరిగింది. సో ప్రధానంగా ఇలాంటి ఐటీకి మార్కెటింగ్ ప్రధానంగా మాకు తీసుకురాగలిగితే ఇక్కడ ఉన్న టాలెంట్కి పదవలేదనమాట. మన ఆంధ్రాలో ఉన్న టాలెంట్, తెలుగులో ఉన్న టాలెంట్ పదవలేదు. ప్రధానంగా ఇలాంటి ఈవెంట్స్, తర్వాత కొన్ని ఇన్సెంటివ్స్, ల్యాండ్స్, లేకపోతే ఇలాంటి కొన్ని ఎలొకేషన్ ఇలాంటివి ఉన్నాయన్నమాట. బట్ పాలసీలో క్లియర్గా డిఫైన్ చేశారు.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ అనే దాని మీద ప్రధాన భూమి కదా ఇది, అంటే కమింగ్ అంటే రాబోయే కాలంలో ఇది ఎటువంటి పాత్ర వహించబోతుంది?
రాబోయే కాలంలో ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ చాలా ప్రధానమైన పాత్ర పోషిస్తుందండి. దీన్ని ఒక దాంట్లో ఏమంటున్నారంటే సునామీ ముందుంది అంటున్నారు అనమాట. అంటే ఏంటంటే ఈ రోజు మనకి చాట్ జీపీటీ అని మా పత్రికా సోదరులందరూ కూడా తెలిసి ఉంటుంది. చాట్ జీపీటీ లాంటి కొన్ని టూల్స్ వచ్చాయన్నమాట. ఈ రోజు మీరు ఒక న్యూస్ పేపర్ క్లిప్పింగ్ రాయాలనుకుంటే 3 నిమిషాల్లో దానికి మనం చక్కగా చెప్పడం మనకు తెలిస్తే దానికి మీకు టక్కమని చెప్పి దానికి వివరం తయారు చేస్తాం. వాల్ స్ట్రీట్ జర్నల్ లాంటి పెద్ద పెద్ద న్యూస్ ఛానల్స్ కూడా ఈ కృత్రిమ మేధని ఎలా ఉపయోగించుకోవాలి. కానీ మనం ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ ఒక పనిముట్లా చూడాలన్నమాట. అంటే మన పనితనాన్ని ఇంకా పెంచగలిగి, మన ప్రొడక్టివిటీని పెంచగలిగే ఒక టూల్. పూర్వం వాషింగ్ మిషన్, టీవీ వచ్చిన రోజుల్లో ఇవన్నీ ఎందుకు మనకి, వాషింగ్ మిషన్ మనం ఏం చేసుకుంటాం, ఇంట్లో వాష్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా అనుకున్న రోజుల్లో, అంటే టెక్నాలజీని చూసి భయపడిన రోజులు ఉన్నాయన్నమాట. కానీ క్రమక్రమంగా మనం అందరం టెక్నాలజీకి అడాప్ట్ అయిపోతాం. అదే రకంగా ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ అనేది కూడా చాలా కొత్త పుంతలు తొక్కబోతుంది. ప్రతి రంగంలోని దాని ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఉండబోతుంది, ప్రతి రంగంలోనూ. కానీ దీన్ని మనం ఎలా చూడాలంటే ఉద్యోగాలు తీసేస్తుందేమో అన్న భయంతో కంటే కూడా కొత్త ఉద్యోగాలు కల్పించడానికి అది ఒక కీలక పాత్ర అవుతుంది, మన ప్రొడక్టివిటీని బాగా పెంచుతుంది అన్నమాట.
పాత్రికేయ మిత్రులందరికీ ఏ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండి. ఎందుకంటే కంటెంట్ రైటింగ్ లో ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు ప్లే వైటల్ రోల్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మీ జాబ్ చాలా ఈజీ అయిపోతుంది, చాలా ఇన్నోవేటివ్ గా ఉంటుంది. అంటే మీరు పెట్టే టైం ఏదైతే పెడుతున్నారో అందుకంటే చాలా తక్కువ టైం పెట్టి చాలా ఎఫెక్టివ్గా, చాలా క్రియేటివ్గా రాయొచ్చు. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు చాట్ జీపీటీ అని మన కృష్ణారెడ్డి గారు చెప్పినట్టు ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ జనరేటివ్ ఏఐ. అంటే కంటెంట్ని జనరేట్ చేస్తుంది. ఆర్ట్, మ్యూజిక్లో కూడా ఏఐ వచ్చేసింది. సో జనరేటివ్ మ్యూజిక్ని కొత్తగా క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది, కొత్తగా కంటెంట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. సో డెఫినెట్గా మీరు అడిగినట్టు ఏఐ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ టు చేంజ్ ద ఫ్యూచర్ అండి. అండ్ ఫ్యూచర్లో చాలా చేంజెస్ ఉంటాయి. నాట్ ఓన్లీ ద టెక్నాలజీ కంపెనీస్, మేము ఓన్లీ ఐటీ కంపెనీసే కాదు, ఎవ్రీ బిజినెస్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి ఇంపాక్టెడ్ బై ఏఐ అండ్ ఈవెన్ అ కామన్ పబ్లిక్ ఆల్సో, కామన్ పీపుల్ ఆల్సో. సో అందరికీ అవేర్నెస్ ఉండాలి. పర్టికులర్గా ఈ సదస్సు ఉద్దేశం ఏంటంటే మనం ఆ అడాప్షన్ అందరికీ తీసుకెళ్ళాలి. బోత్ జాబ్ సీకర్స్ అంటే పీపుల్ ఆర్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ ద జాబ్స్, కానీ అలాగే ఐటీ కంపెనీస్ ఎవరైతే రన్ చేస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళకు కూడా, ఈవెన్ చిన్న కంపెనీస్, స్టార్టప్స్ కూడా ఈ అడాప్షన్ గురించి సెన్సిటైజ్ చేయాలి అని చెప్పి మేము ఈ ఉద్దేశంతో అన్ని రీజన్లో చేస్తున్నామండి ఈవెంట్స్. అవునండి, ఏఐ
అంటే ఇది కృత్రిమ మేధలో ఉన్న ఒక ప్రధానమైన విషయం ఏంటంటే అండి, అది తనకు తాను తెలుసుకుంటుంటుంది. అంటే పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ సింగులారిటీ అని ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉందన్నమాట. అంటే ఒకానొక దశలో వచ్చే ఫ్యూచర్లో ఒకానొక దశలో మనకి కృత్రిమ మేధ యొక్క మేధస్సు మనిషి మేధస్సు కంటే పైకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది అన్న ఒక ఇది ఉందన్నమాట. కానీ అణుబాంబుని ఎలా అయితే మనం దాని పవర్ను ఉపయోగించుకుంటూ మనం స్టిల్ దాన్ని కంట్రోల్లో పెట్టుకున్నామో, విస్తృతమైన చర్చలు జరుగుతున్నాయి అన్నమాట అండి. సో దీని మీదే, అంటే దీన్ని టెక్నాలజీని ఉపయోగించుకుంటూ దాన్ని ఎలా కంట్రోల్ చేసుకోవాలి, నిజంగా ఏదైనా ప్రాబ్లం వస్తే దాన్ని ఎలా అన్ప్లగ్ చేసుకోవాలి, ఇలాంటి టెక్నాలజీలు ఇవి యాక్చువల్గా వస్తున్నాయి అన్నమాట.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. సరే,
కూర్చోండి.
పాయింట్స్ అంతా కూడా ఏదో జస్ట్ మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నట్టు భావిస్తున్నాం.
మనం వాళ్ళకి బ్రీఫ్ చేయాలి కదా, ఏదైనా బ్రీఫ్ చేయాలి.
రామకృష్ణ గారు మీరేమైనా చెప్తారా?
So, taking this moment, moving ahead for calling our panel discussion mates, like the first topic is data analytics. Today, we are fortunate to have with us panel of experts who are the forefront of the data analytics industry. They will be sharing their knowledge and expertise on how data analytics is revolutionizing various industries and transforming the way we do business. I cordially invite the panelist, Sri Madhu Vadlamani, moderator of Analytics Panel, practice manager of data engineering and AI experts of Miracle Software Systems. Moving ahead and taking a note on Mr. Madhu Vadlamani, a data analytics with 14 years of experience delivering insights using data, committed to helping the companies develop strategic plans based on the data. I'm a growth hacker who understands business using data and also a speaker, mentor, trainer, and thinker. Madhu is currently working as a SR Technical Practice Manager. Data analytics with Miracle Software System, ensuring the quality delivery being first point of contact for leadership in best analytics practices, supporting clients and manage business. He also architects and create pipelines and has good experience in working with Power BI, GCP, Azure, and IBM Cloud. Prior to joining Miracle Software, he was associated with Deloitte Consulting. Madhu has still now delivered 400 plus sessions in span of 6 years by passion, guided thousands of students and professionals. He is also a writer in major news daily and board of member in AI and data science in top universities. 3-time judge for Smart India Hackathon. Welcome, sir. Our next member, Sri Ramakrishna Dasari, MD and CEO of Eftronics. So Ramakrishna Dasari is a founder CEO of Eftronics System Provide Limited, established in 1985. He is instrumental in Eftronics growth and is positioning it one of India's smart solution company. Backed up by rich R&D, Efronics is now a leading provider of smart solutions for railway signaling, smart cities, smart buildings, and industries. He holds Bachelor of Engineering degree from NIT Surat and MTech in Electronics and Electrical Engineering from IIT Madras. Welcome, sir. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Indrajit An, CEO of Invitis. And Indrajit An is the co-founder and CEO of Invitis. He sets and evolves the strategic direction of the company. While a strong team to drive execution, Invitis is business of data analytics in retail domain. Indrajit has over 25 years of experience at several leading companies. Previously, Indrajit worked with Northern Technologies International Corporation, where he held several leadership positions for 14 years. He was responsible for setting up and overseeing the company's business in the Middle East. He was the part of two-member team that set up business for NTIC in India in year 2000, was instrumental in its rapid growth. Welcome, sir. Now, I would like to invite Sri Ravichandra Kolluru, Delivery Head India of Tech Mahindra. Mr. Ravichandra Kolluru is a postgraduate in computer applications from Andhra University. He is also a certified global business leader from U21 Universities and Harvard School of Publishing. Ravichandra has close to 21 years of experience in the IT industry, spanning across different roles of delivery manager, program manager, operations head, and pre-sales head. Ravichandra has been associated with Tech Mahindra since 1998. In his current role of Assistant Vice President, Delivery is responsible for successful delivery of service and solution across customers. As an additional responsibility, Ravichandra is currently playing the role of a location head for Tech Mahindra Vizag facility and is responsible for the liaising with government officials, industry forums, CIE NOSCOMs, and academic institutions. Welcome, sir. So now the panel discussion will be conducted on the topic of data analytics. So please.
Very good. Am I audible? Yep. A very good afternoon to all of you. And yeah, time was 12 sharp, so afternoon. Yes, it is correct. Database, it is correct. So glad to see you, sir. And to be frank, this year has to be there with one of my friend, Sudhakar Garu, but still, he was sick and wish him a speedy recovery. And he's not only a very good friend, but also a very good person in terms of the ITAAP, in terms of the development and everything. I'm glad, and thanks for all the intro. And may I request for a couple of minutes that what exactly your company does? And this will be like around, don't mind if I have to follow a sequence, and don't ask me if you can follow the perfect statistical numbers. Maybe I'm rude and rugged, but still, I'm polite.
No, maybe we should start from Ramakrishna Garu, who's been the industry veteran and senior to us.
Yes, yes.
Basically, Efronics develops smart solutions from almost 2 decades. We monitor most of the Indian railway signaling, capturing the data with the help of IoT, and bring the data to the central place and analyze the data and find the anomalies. Especially, main objective is to reduce the accidents, and we are able to be successful in that. And now reducing the keeping in a right time. That is a running time of the train should be punctual. That is where the data is well used to control entire systems in the railways.
Excellent, sir. We'll talk more about it for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
May please.
So, as you all know, I'm part of Tech Mahindra. So, Tech Mahindra, I don't think needs any special introduction. So, we've been one of the top IT companies and IT exporter in India. More than the IT services, we are into areas of seed funding some of the ideas, and we are into encouraging startups, and we have multiple center of excellence across different industries, technologies, and verticals. So I would say like there would not be an area where Tech Mahindra would not have had a touch point. So at least let me put it
The
as
world
a
knows that.
true.
Yeah, right. I'm Indrajit. I'm from Inventis. We are about an 8-year-old company based out of Vijayawada. We are primarily into data analytics for retail domain. So we typically do business intelligence reporting and a lot of other predictive analytics for manufacturers who supply to, I mean, primarily consumer goods manufacturers who sell through different retail chains.
Excellent, sir. Thanks for that. So let's start the panel. This will be the most interactive session for sure. Of course, no papers, no questionnaires as well. Even I don't carry any paper, just with some signers. Yeah, sir. Indian Railways is the top employer in the whole world, and you said that you have prevented a lot of accidents. You have done some mechanisms. So what was your thought process? What was your problem statement in terms of finding the solution? And I heard that your data center something is there in Vijayawada.
It is not the data center. First base for entire analytics is IoT.
Okay.
That is where the collecting of the data from the real world in a real time and bringing the data. IoT has a definition: sense,
Yes.
communicate, analyze, act.
Okay.
That's where we started sensing the data from a railway signaling. Each station will have something like thousands of relays will be there. All that relays information real time in every 16 milliseconds. We capture that, record that, and bring the data to the central place like a zonal headquarters, divisional headquarters. There in the computer we analyze the certain patterns, which is expected patterns, which is not expected patterns. If the patterns is not expected, for example, a driver crosses red signal, then it is identified and given alarm. Thereby they started punishing the driver and they started reducing it. These are the man-made. There are unman-made, that means because of can happen. These type of things were identified, and on that the data, the people started taking actions. Thereby they are able to reduce the accidents. Second thing, same data is used how the train entered into the station in a real time, because in India the most important challenge is data corruption. The more corruption is in data rather than a money corruption. Because of data corruption, the data corruption was reduced because the real time data was captured by the machine's information without tampering it. Thereby exactly when the train entered into the station, when it is left the station, with this data, now they started using the data. Initially the people used it to give information that punctuality is 95%, 99%, something like that. But when it is really taken into it, it is 30 to 40%. Now with this information, they started working. Now it is improved to 60%. So that means there is an improvement in the usage of the assets and identifying the bottlenecks. This is how really the railway started using it. The infrastructure is every station will have IoT devices. That IoT devices are communicating the data to the central place. There again in the computers, which we analyze the data with our own algorithms. And of course, Power BI like things also used to get the slicing and dicing and understanding where really the challenges is, the understanding the statistics of it, acting on that. So this all helps us improving the getting a value. My observation is basically when you are talking about all these new technologies, how to create a value is a key. The key is overall benefits divided by total cost management. The biggest challenge for any domain is where is that value, identify it, and the second is create it, the third is delivery it. Delivery it in the sense seeing that customer uses it. Initially we have a lot of challenges where the customer is not using. Then we put our teams and see that we provide a real insights to the officers so that they started using that. Delivery is really the success, and after that we started scaling up. Now almost Indian Railways, 99% of the Indian Railways signaling monitoring is done by our equipment. and our system rather, I won't say equipment, the entire thing is done indigenously from Vijayawada. Not any technology except the whatever the operating systems or the regular tools, even not data lakes or whatever we are all talking, all our jargons, we are not using it. All that again, there is a inside is there. Inside they are there with the same technology dimensions.
Excellent, sir. I mean, so glad to see that you have set up a big thing in Vijayawada. So great to hear about it, sir. And I'll definitely punch up with a lot of questions again. Sir, having said that, let me. You're dealing with tons of data. At times, the tons of data is headache, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
because even in my company, when you say Power BI, half of my team members says that yes, we are there. So, what do you feel when you see that okay, this is the element, and we have to visual major pain points when you deal with this kind of a crunch of data?
Yeah, absolutely. One is having enormous amount of one thing, and second thing, as Ramakrishna, is the corruption of data. In the sense that you have a lot of data, but the attributions towards it, without attributable causes, whatever analytics you want to drive it, you can't generate any actionable insights without having proper attribution to each event, as you can say. So that's where the biggest challenge is. And once you overcome that challenge, I mean, for us to overcome that challenge, you need to have the business people also involved in this one. And that's where, majority of the organizations are not able to leverage their data because, the data, as our speakers also said, is collected in silos, right? So there are different streams or different sources from which data is coming in. And you have data analysts or experts who can handle data, who can build statistical models on the data. But then, to actionable insights, you need to have a proper business problem associated with the data. And for us to derive answers or arrive at answers from the business problem, you need to have that attributable causes to this. So that's where the challenge is, and that's where you can derive insights only when both businesses and the data team work together.
Agree. I agree. In fact, my manager always says that it's not about data collection; it's about engineering with lot of engineers.
Absolutely.
So kudos to my manager, actually Sanjeev. He's there in US, and in fact, sir, to you, sir. Tech Mahindra is definitely, no doubt, it's a big firm. No doubt, it's a old firm. So, no doubt, how you are actually ensuring that you're getting the right skill for a project. Because these days, when we opt, even in our org, out of say, I don't want to compare with 10, I'd like to compare with 100. 100 out of 2, 100 out of 3. The success ratio of the people, exact qualified ratio, has been really, it's been varied a lot. So how do you see this challenge, sir?
In fact, I want to take a step back even before talking about data analytics, right? Today, if you look at in the market, every other day you hear a new jargon, new dimension of business coming into picture, where most of us are not even prepared to be there. Okay, so if I have to define data analytics, the approach that each one of us, big, small, whatever size of the organization, fundamental concept is we have to identify the need for a particular initiative. Right? So why do we do it? What is the need for it? Once you identify the need, then I take a 5-pronged approach saying what, why, when, where, and how. So what has happened in the past, that's what defines the data. That's where you have the history. Then why has it happened gives you an analysis or insight into what led to that particular result, right? Now that you know what has happened, you have understood why it has happened in the first place, then you define where you want to be there. Where do you want to progress forward, right? Once you define a what, why, and where, then you have to identify and define when you want to get there, right? Timing to market is equally important. It doesn't mean that we have to do a knee-jerk reaction and come up with some cookie-cutter solution. So once you define the 4 W's, the what, why, when, and where, then you have to define how do you get there, right? So today we are talking about tons, terabytes, or n number of bytes of data coming into picture. But fundamentally, there are two sides of the pillar. One is the person who delivers the services, and the one who experiences the services. So when we talk about data analytics or data analyzation or whatever it is, everybody starts with data culture, right? So data culture never happens bottoms up. It has to be a top-down approach. The top level CXO person should embrace that, saying, yes, this is what has happened with this organization in the past, and this is the reason why it has happened. And my goal is I have to reach to this point, and this is my tread path, and this is how I want to achieve. Once you define these 5 things, then comes, is the industry ready? Right? We talk a lot about use cases. I think if I'm allowed to say, use case is one most abused word in the industry, right? Everybody talks about use cases. Somebody says, I have built 10 use cases. Somebody says, I'm working on a use case. But ideally, we are not breaking that problem into a level of understanding where an aspirant who is about to come into the industry, or an aspirant who is already there in the industry, or who has spent significant time in the industry can understand it, right? Today, most of the organization, like I said, big, small, or irrespective of the size of organization, we try to force something down the throat of an individual saying, I need this. Here you take this data, use this tool, and this is the algorithm, give me a result. But that individual may give you a result, but it will not be the idealistic solution that one can produce when he or she embraces it, understands fully, and buys into that philosophy, right? And I'll take 10 more seconds. I know I'm taking a bit of more time. So the other facet is, like Ramakrishna Garu said, data is corrupt, not Indians. That is true. Problem is, most of the organizations, people have been used to the legacy model of maintaining data. Even if you talk about any government organization, if you ask for a small pen, so you have to write on a piece of paper, I need this color pen, then your manager has to sign, and somebody else will move it to the commercial department, then he'll verify if it is there, he'll issue a stock, it will not come to you directly. Now, if you have analytics, if you have the data in the form of an Excel or some database, then you can identify the pattern, what is the lead time from order to cash or procure to pay, all these things happen, right? So customers have to be educated in terms of their reassurance of their job safety. Today, most of the time, the pushback comes because I don't want to let my management implement some analytics solution which will cut down my productivity from 5 days to 1 day. While they appreciate the productivity of 1 day, they are worried that what do I justify for the other 4 days which I was doing for historic years, right? So even in Tech Mahindra, what we believe, and most of the companies for that matter in the world believe, is training is important to individuals. But again, the timing of the training is what matters.
Agree.
It's not that you train today and down the line after 1 year somebody gets to work on it. By then he would have seen many more areas and he would have forgotten what he has to deal with as well.
Yeah, strongly agree. In fact, add to your point, sir. In fact, lot of people say that we are excited with data analytics, we are excited with AI. Actually, it's not excited. In the other fact, they are actually worried about it. I questioned to one of my friends, said that AI will kill jobs, and he is learning AI. I said that if you know that AI is going to kill the job, why are you learning it? I mean,
in fact, adding onto it, as a parent, I have a similar problem because my son who is about to enter engineering is equally confused. Okay, so one day he comes with
again, that's a data problem, sir. So when I ask a suggestion to one person, okay, 2%, yes or plus or minus, that's fine. 10 people. So we don't ask actually questions. We inquire questions, but we have the information already. Now that the ChatGPT has come in, every information has been in our pockets itself. And tomorrow the Bard will come, whole world will be in miniatures itself. Yeah. So yes, sir. So continuation with that particular point, sir. Lot of tools are there, lot of technologies are there, but at times you might not find the right manpower, but you can actually tackle it. Now, how do you, as a senior person in your company who handles with a lot of data, how do you handle this kind of pressure? Because the pressure is that we need to get a client. Other pressure is that can we do it or not?
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry if that is
Yeah.
a bad question.
No, no, no. As I said, I mean, I mean, if the customer is clear about what he wants, the job is very easy. You can get it done. The technologies or whatever technology he wants, like there are so many analytical tools like Power BI, like Ramakrishna Garu said, and then you have Tableau, and then you have Firespot, and there are so many of them, okay, which are readily available visualization tools that can ingest data once it is structured and cleaned and things like that. So on one side, I would say that the technology adoption or training the people is not a big deal, as long as you have a clarity on what you want and where you want to go. As,
The
sir
4
said.
Ws
Yeah.
of
So, I mean, to the first point of your question, getting the customer, yes, if the customer has clarity on what he is looking for, it's like 50% of the job done. So most of the times what we feel is customer wants something, but he doesn't know what he wants. That is the biggest challenge in the business today. Because now that all this chat GPT or whatever it is, the AI, the words AI and analytics have become the buzzwords. So everybody wants AI powered solutions, but they really don't know what AI really means and what really AI can deliver. There is more hype than what is practically possible. That's the practicality of the situation in the business today. So most of the times we see clients saying that, I would like to have a model, which can understand my natural language and then tell me this one, tell me that one, etc. But most of us, what we don't realize is even as advanced model as ChatGPT, they cannot read your tabular data. They cannot do any aggregations, right? So these are like the practical applications. So if you give your chat GPT your, let us say, sales data, you see that I have like 10 items and these are the different sales. And if you ask chat GPT what is my sales for the month of January, it cannot give you. It is giving numbers. I mean, we have tested this, so I'm telling you from practical experience. So it gives you numbers, but even the simple additions, the numbers are wrong, right? So that way, yes, ChatGPT is a big progress in terms of AI, where it is generating text, it is understanding the natural language, and it is able to give you answers, but it is not there yet in terms of providing meaningful business insights, right? So there you still need to have your own customized visualizations or desktops or applications and things like that.
Agree. In fact, so the world doesn't need programmers, the world doesn't need mechanical engineers, civil engineers, anyone. The world needs a programmer who is a thought leader, a civil engineer who is a thought leader, an individual who is a thought leader. So that's where we can actually think in terms of the business perspective, not just in a generic way. In the other words, actually, what is a lot of people say that it's an automation. No, it's an automation. It's an intelligent with automation. So AI is not automation for all the freshers which have been sitting over here. And sir, to your point, sir, you have been there in this field since time, and IoT has been evolving. So railways is one of those segments, but home automation and other areas are also one of those segments. A lot of people say that home automation is something like when you chair like that, the light will off. That's not the reality. But how are you actually taking this IoT picture to the world which is around you? That how important is it? What are some of the suggestions which you make for your team to go beyond the thought process?
Of course, basically there are 2-3 dimensions which I feel as an industry. Unfortunately, most of the Indian industry is a service-based industry, which we are giving a services to the else part of the world. But when we are talking about a product, any product, first thing is what is the purpose of that product, which domain we are working, or we have clarity of that domain. Unless you don't have clear clarity, what is a value is needed in that, what are the things you will be able to cut short. That means cut short in the sense, end of the day, holistic value, how we are able to get in that domain. That's where first we have to look into it. Way back, maybe 10 years back, after our success in the railways, some of the officer asked me to do the water SCADA in Vijayawada. Then he asked water SCADA, I am not expert in the water, I don't have any knowledge. He said that he has some consultant, he will do that. Then Well, after talking to the consultant, I understood he don't have any knowledge. He has only some meter and level meter and flow meter. Then I put my brain and then started questioning. As a citizen of Vijayawada, what I want. I want continuous water or otherwise some periodic water regularly, and then quality of water, quantity of water at less cost. That is my requirement as a customer for the Vijayawada Municipal Corporation.
And you have done in the own R&D.
Yeah, that's where I'm just 1 minute.
Yeah.
So taking that as a main top requirement, then I started looking into it. Then I said I have to do a small POC. I want some level meter and flow meter. Remaining technology I will give freely and let us test it. Then after testing, we started understanding where the water is getting leaked. What is happening with the water in the distribution system. Then I said should be the architecture, this should be the final goals. With this, these are the things is needed. Then the officer, IS officer, somehow trusted me and said, whatever Ramakrishna said, you put it in the PO, that is the entire tender. Finally, I got the tender. Then my challenge is to achieve that. Then first thing, when we start putting a census, we identified 36% of unaccounted water from pumping station to the reservoirs. The challenge is to reduce that. The second challenge is whether the people are giving the right time water to all the people. At morning 5 means 5 o'clock the water should start. Otherwise somebody is waiting for it. Somebody wasting time. Otherwise sometimes they start early, the water wastes. These are all the fundamentals. With the data, we created a patterns and see that the officer will get the dashboards and he forces all the people to make it happen. Ultimately, within 1 month, 36% brought to 8% are accounted. That means the total ROI came within 1.5 years.
Excellent.
So that is where I feel if someone of us has to work in any area, you have to focus on only one area. As Mr. Indrajit is telling, so customer never knows what he wants. That is a well accepted, not today, across the world. Even when I went to Japan for training, they also said same thing. Customer doesn't know what he wants. Customer knows what he wants.
Agree.
So try to focus on any one of you enter into certain area, focus on one area, try to understand the entire intricacies of the domain and focus more into it, do more POCs, not for the paid POCs, understand the technology and then create a team who will be able to understand the domain and then connect these technologies to that so that we'll be able to create a higher value. End of the day, you will be specialist in that area. Then you will have a more success story in that rather than whoever is asking, I will make Power BI reports and whoever is asking, I will do this, do that. That doesn't work. That's where we finally focusing only few areas. In that areas only we will be working.
Excellent. So, I mean, 10 years before, how old are you, sir, at that time? Maybe a gap.
As old as 65.
Yeah. Now you're 50, because at the age of 55, you started digging the. I mean, you're doing your own.
I started my company way back 85. 85.
30 years. So
almost 37.
40.
Years.
Sorry, my bad. Almost 40.
No, I started with the digital.
I wish you should come to the next decade as well, and we'll definitely have a silver jubilee. Yeah. 55 years at that particular age and still you're doing an R&D and you're able to get the project and let the team driving. A big kudos to you, sir. All I can say is this. Sorry, I should clap like this, but I cannot leave my mic away.
Not necessary. Even my feeling is, even today, if I don't learn, whatever you are all talking, regularly I go to the international trade fairs. Last 2 weeks back, last month I went, and again next week I am going to the Hanover Messe to see how the technology is working, what are the various dimensions they are working, and what are the trends happening, where really the value is there, they will demonstrate. The trade fairs is the one area where really the value is demonstrated because the entire international firms comes there. Though sometimes it is not relevant to us, still going and observing the technology. Sometimes the good practices in other technologies we can bring into the our domain and matching. That is where the real creativity comes. Of course, I won't say the creativity, but absorbing the technology and inducing that adopting this technology into the areas where we are working. The new ideas will generate.
Feel free to talk in between seconds. No restrictions as such.
See, I think like Ramakrishna and Indrajit said, there were times, maybe a decade or decade and a back, where people used to have the myth that one size fits all solution. Okay, but like all of us understand, everybody is unclear and things evolve over a period of time. Okay, so during that evaluation process, I think one thing that can help anybody, be an entrant or a veteran, is unlearn and learn. Okay, so a lot of us, IT is all about mythbusters only. Okay, so
I was about to ask that
yeah,
question.
so it's all about
Please.
mythbusters, and we feel, yes, I've been in IT for 2.5 decades, so I know everything. And the moment some customer even speaks fully, our Indian culture also is a problem that we try to interrupt them. So even before they share their complete problem, yeah, I know you're talking about this. Yes, 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 yes. We already have something, right? So we have to come out of that mindset. And first thing is, like Ramakrishna Garu said, what is the ROI that an end recipient is getting, not your customer. Okay, I'll give you an example in line with your water one. I was handling one coal project. Okay, this is typically across the mines. Now, when they dig this coal and they put it on a truck, and when it goes to a rake, okay, there are different parameters what they measure. During summer season, they have one calculation formula for the loaded content to be delivered to the end destination, with 5% variation in weight because of wind and something flying in air. And if it is rainy season, okay, we put 80 tons, and while the truck reaches the end destination during a rainy season, it'll add up water and the weight increases. Okay, so you put 80, and at the end destination, when you weigh, it shows you 100 tons, then there is a variation of 20 tons. So again, going back to my earlier statement, these are areas we have to understand. The moment they say automation, then we don't have to say, like, give me a sample of last 1 year data, all season, then I'll put a compute. No, it's over a period of time. See, rains can be normal, rains can be floods, or rain can be hurricanes, or it can be any other thing. So before, again, technology, tools, anything are a media of execution, right? So most of us who've been in the industry for more than 3 decades, they come from the old school, where even before sitting on the system, at least let me tell you my experience. When I was a fresher, when I was given a program to develop, I sat on in front of a computer. So my manager called me and said, "You know everything." I said, "I'm trying to figure it." He said, "First, put an algorithm into this. Okay, translate that algorithm into a flowchart. Test it with sample data on a piece of paper. Once you have done this whole 9 yards of homework, then all you do is a typist job on a computer." Right? Problem is, today we start attempting something, then look out for solution, be it chat GPT or anything. Again, I was sharing with Rama during our break time. If most of you have read the chat GPT, any technology comes with enormous amount of risk. Right? 3 days back, Samsung, while doing a test in their lab, they invoked chat GPT, and within couple of hours, their entire source code is in OpenAI. Okay, so when we are attempting at something, we have to understand, right? Like when you read any mutual fund, right, they give a small fine print saying mutual funds are subject to market risk. So that's the problem I'm saying. See, while timing to market, quicker solution is the norm of the day, norm of the industry. How correct are you? You can be 60% correct, customer is still happy, but you are 100% correct with vulnerabilities, they may not accept it.
Yeah, true, sir. In fact, I always, even whenever I spoke to any kind of colleges or even my team, some of my folks are here. 100% quality is myth. Yeah, there is no 100% quality. Even in this session, I cannot rate myself as an 100 by 100 at all.
By now, we would have saturated in IT. Everything would have matured.
I mean, at least 70% of the things are okay enough. So, okay, let's go. Okay, you can share. Sir, to your question, maybe for both of you. Why only Python? Python, a lot of, I mean, a lot of Python fans are there actually. A lot of people say that C language, no, I want to learn Python first. I mean, this is my personal experience.
I'll tell you because that's the easiest. I mean, you are kind of trying to write sentences without learning ABCDs. That's what I would say.
Half of the people who will say, who will clap to you, and half of the people will say like this.
No, you would have heard of Lotus 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
So why did they call it 1, 2, 3? They wanted to call it saying Lotus is as simple as numerics 1, 2, 3, right? So Python is something people are easily picking, but to be relevant, to be successful in industry, I think I was talking to a lot of college graduates in some of the sessions. People need only three things: one programming language, one scripting language, one database. That's it. Rest all it'll make you relevant for a lifetime, and most importantly, I think there are no shortcuts in college days. If your fundamentals are not strong, you can see. I was talking to one person from industry who has been 45 years only in the industry. During casual conversation, he was telling me some engineering dynamics theorem. He was narrating the whole theorem word by word. And I was asking, like, how come you remember after 45 days of 45 years of leaving your college? He was saying I was very keen on my fundamentals.
Agree.
Python, recently there is some Python consumes 22 times higher power of CPU compared to C. 22 times. That means if you want to do really data crunching, you need 22 times higher powerful computing. So that is meaningless. Many times you can't get, you have to wait and wait to get the results.
Infrastructure cost also rises.
Yeah, that's what.
See, there were times when we were developing programs, right? This was when Windows 95, Windows 98, Netscape, and IE browsers used to be there. So when we write a program, we were cautioned saying our program should work the same way in 95 and 98, and Windows NT. That was one of the robust OS from Microsoft. So it has to work the same way. And when we used to develop small pages in ASP, and you should see on an Internet Explorer, it will rise in Cozy. The moment you port it on Netscape, it will be skewed up. So it's not about consuming space. It depends on how optimized your code is.
Agree. And having said that, when I said about Python, that doesn't mean that we are haters of Python. We are all lovers of information technology only, irrespective of any kind of tools.
None of us are programmers today.
I can see very good smiles, which means that the answer was polite. So, no second thoughts on that. So,
no, we are living in a world of instant gratification, right? So Python is very easy. You write a piece of code to achieve whatever output you want to send. So we are looking at a shortcut. That's all I can say.
In fact, also consider Julia Golang as well, because Julia is also. So I'm not a fan of anything.
One more challenge with Python, basically, it won't solve all the problems straight away. Like database cannot solve all the problems straight away, especially when you are talking IoT data and all with bits and bytes and all. Crunching that and getting the insight takes much complex problem, and instead of that, if you write in a simple C code with the indexing and all, it works at the high speed.
It's like that 80-20 principle. So 80% you already have, but the other 20% will consume your entire 80% of effort.
Yeah, agree. So let me come to a different question altogether, sir. So data is a big wall. The person who has a data doesn't mean that he is a topper. The person who understands the data is a big topper. But in the offices, generally, even a lot of offices, even in the top professionals, are worried about something where the gossips will be going on, right? So this job will be lost, or tomorrow if we don't learn, this one will be lost. So as a managers, as a top heads, have you came across these situations, and have you handled, and how did you tackle your team to not to get more worried about it?
So, like a simple example, like when probably computers came in, the typewriter, right? So it's simple as that even now. So there is no threat of kind of losing jobs or anything like that. It's just that the skill set is shifting. That's all. So whenever that kind of threat or fear is there, we only assuage the team by upskilling them.
So how much time do you dedicate? Let's say weekly 40 hours is right. So maybe if I'm asking 40 hours.
No. That's the work hours. Typically, at least 10% of. So typically, what we have is every week on a Friday afternoon session. Typically, is a non-working session that's dedicated for kind of a knowledge transfer kind of a thing, wherein we have different departments, different teams. Some of the teams are working on data lake, some which is like upcoming kind of platforms for handling data. Some of the teams are working on traditional SQL databases, right? So there's a knowledge transfer between these, and even within the teams, there are best practices. Not everyone has the same set of skills. Some of them are more explorative. Some of them take initiative on their own to make their code efficient, or write the queries and or organize the data in different ways, etc. So we look at the performances of the screens or the dashboards and things like that, and so the best practices gets transferred. That's how we handle in our organization. The knowledge base and things like that.
In fact, the same here, sir. In fact, I lead the Friday evening sessions for my org. So I mean, again, good to know that. Sir, how about you, sir?
We are talking about data, right? So let's take level up and information. For a second, let's call it
Data
information.
information.
Okay. In some of my sessions, I used to tell the students saying, I envy you because today you have the power of everything at the tip of your finger. But right-sized information only can clear apprehensions which otherwise are created in mind. Okay. Today, challenge is information is loosely available across the net. So the current Gen X, what we call, are equally confused which one is the right one for them. Too much information. So only way you can clear some of these apprehensions, like sir said, is keep engaging in conversation beyond work. Okay. Every time it's not that we call them, ask them how much have they delivered, how much have they met the timelines, how much have they delivered with quality, all those things. So sometimes we have to talk beyond work and create a sense of awareness, saying what's happening around the industry, and give them a sense of belief how soon they become irrelevant in the industry. Right? Today problem is AI is coming. With 30 years experience, I don't know what AI is. Am I irrelevant? I may not be a good coder, but can I contribute in some other way? So as people heading, our role is more dependent on identifying the skill that each individual is cut to make. It's not that everybody is good at everything. So you have to identify the niche skill in each of those people and use them in that right roles. Rather than I can't expect a person who's good in Excel saying come and build something workflow in Python or something. He'll not be. Right? Somebody is good at taking in Excel tons of data, creating VLOOKUPs, and he can create some macros in Excel. So if I know that this person is cut for this, then I have to put him in job or areas which match his skill. It's like if I ask a two-wheeler to drive a lorry, then he's bound to fail.
Absolutely. Add to what sir has said. The information is now, as I said, is freely available. And it's at the fingertips. I mean, so one thought for all of us is if you look at our education system, traditionally we have been assessed based on our memory power, like how much you remember, right? You have questions, you get questions in the exam. So how much you remember and how can you answer that question more than the application of what you learned. So now I think it's time that all that should change in a way, because I don't have to remember now, because if I have a question or if I have any doubt, all I need is a ChatGPT, or all I need is an internet connection and a Google. That's it. That's all I need. So I can get any information that I need. So the value of what I remember is not much. But what is more relevant now is what kind of questions to ask. It's not what you know, but it's what questions or what you want to know or where you want to go. So now going forward, the capability should be measured based on the ability to ask the right questions. And in a way, if you really think little deeper into that, only those people who have good understanding of the subject only can ask relevant questions. So
Rather, I would say one should be shameless to ask any question.
any question, yeah,
The
right.
moment you shy away, if I ask this question, am I considered as a nerd or am I considered as uneducated? I think that's the day you end up delivering a wrong thing. Only.
Wrong thing, absolutely, yeah. Going forward, the assessment models are going to be not based on your memory, but based on your ability to question or ability to ask the relevant questions. Okay. So I'll just.
No worries, sir. So, if we can expect a change, much more change in railways, say I'm talking about 2025, what can be one of the transformational changes in terms of IoT connected technologies? How can you predict it? I mean,
basically, end of the day, I feel digital twin is a ultimate solution. That is where, of course, the people talk about digital twin in various dimensions. But mathematically modeling entire activity of the entire system and then verifying where it is failing or where we can optimize, where we can bypass, which can be eliminated. All these dimensions will come through the digital twin. So how to apply digital twin so that the perfection will reach to the thing and the optimization will come. That is how really the world is working. Few days back I am saying Tesla started making a different type of manufacturing process where huge dies were made. Instead of building many things, they made big die and then they reduced that entire manufacturing process from 30 only 100 seconds and thereby their turnover is increased almost 33% last year. So this is how the breaking rules, seeing ultimate purpose and how to work on the purpose that leads to a success.
Just adding on to that die concept. So how many of you would have purchased the paints during your teenage for some paint work at home? So if you look at historically, we used to have colored boxes available at all the leading stores, right? And then a drift happened. If you observe today, any of the paint store, they'll have only the white base, okay? Because earlier they used to build some colors which were not used. You have nothing to do whatsoever. Today the wastage has been reduced because be it Asian, Burger or anybody, they just ship the white paint to the stores and they'll give you a menu card of colors. Once you select, the dye gets mixed and automatically gets dropped, it's shaken, it's given to you, right? So we have to, like I said, you have to have the curiosity of a kid and you have to be more observant on what's happening around you and see how you can embrace it in your day-to-day life, be it personal or professional. I think that's where we are talking about the data analytics. What else can be a better example?
yeah, agree, sir. And before we go into the audience questions, right, what do you feel, at least 2 or 3 points from each one of you, that what is one of those pain factors that the new generation people should change their way in terms of adapting the new technologies? Because I strongly feel that any kind of a world or any kind of an ecosystem can be developed only by 2 ways. One, bring the technology, build the technology. Bring the technology, build the technology. So where is the gap missing, sir? I mean, still there's a lag.
First important is you have to build the capabilities. According to the Gartner, they given a very simple formula. Mindset plus practice, bracket, into technology, lead to capability. What is a mindset? Whether I have a growth mindset. Growth mindset means I want to improve every day. That is what makes the things. The curiosity, learning, all that comes around the other dimension. And again, what type of practices I am following. The practices and the mindset is going to be more dominating today than technology. Technologies are available. You can learn the technologies much rapidly. Unless I don't have will to do the things, and that is a internal urge to do the things, that is where I work for the perfection, and the autonomy, that is independent thinking and mastery towards that. So these are the three things which we have to keep in the top, and then apply change the mindset and follow the practices, use the relevant technologies which is going to improve the things.
Thank you, sir.
So I'll do the last honors.
No, there's nothing like last. There are still a bag left with me.
No, we are definitely there. See, I'll tell you, I've been echoing on different forums. Let me repeat for the benefit of this audience as well. Fundamentals is what can take you places. Okay. One, there is no excuse for saying I'm okay. I'm passed with 60%, 70%. Marks are only getting you certificates and grades, but your strength on fundamentals only can define where you will. I may have an aspiration to buy something beyond my reach, but if my basics are not correct, okay, I will never reach there. That's point one. Second, adaptability, like I said, unlearn and learn, right? So people have to be flexible to changing environments. Technologies, few years back, we used to call data centers. Today it's cloud. Tomorrow I don't know what it will be, right? Automation we are calling. We used to do automation in Excel way back into 98 and 99, creating some macros. It's one form of automation, right? So even data analytics, it again starts with creating a database, right? So if you ask any engineering student what are the normal forms, the answer you will get. Today people are missing big time on fundamentals and their flexibility to learn. If they change their mindset in terms of saying, yes, I'm open for ideas. And another third important one, taking criticism is also equally important. If somebody says you are not delivered a good work, today the mindset is such that people are not ready to accept. I know I've done this in my erstwhile company, it works. The approach may be same, but the dynamics and the way each company works is different. And fundamental problem is technology can give you a solution, but the industry is what defines how this solution has to be configured.
Yeah.
Today, large organizations have a problem because I can train 100 people on Python, I can train 100 people on Tableau. But how does a Tableau behave for a pharmaceutical company versus a manufacturing company? Even in manufacturing, you have process manufacturing, you have chemical manufacturing, you have a ship manufacturing industry, right? So the business flow, if it is not taught before deploying somebody, you are preparing them for a worse failure of their life.
Agree. In fact, we don't need data, Power BI experts, Tableau experts. We don't need ClickView experts. We don't need Excel. We need a data visualization experts. I mean, maybe, one common point across all the companies is that we don't need Java specialists or Python specialists. We need programmers, the real programmers. Someone who can. I always say that in my team. In fact, a couple of members are there. If you don't question, then you're not eligible to be in my. Be a part of my team at all. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Both of them have covered the base things because, as I said, we are all from the old. Yeah, we are all kind of old thinking. So I would say that yes, focus on your basics and be open to learn new things. Don't be afraid of anything. That's all I would say.
So it was very good session for sure. I would rate at least 65 to 70. Thanks.
No, even going by old school, 70% is distinction. So we have succeeded.
I'm pretty much satisfied, sir. I'm self-satisfied. Thank you so much. So the mic is open for questions. So if you're afraid to ask something special, I mean, there is no good question, bad question as such. So a cheeky question is also good.
Excluding the functions and syntax in Python, other thing, okay?
So then I would ask that turn on your ChatGPT++ and use the $20 version. Yeah, the mic is open for everyone. So all the three experts have been there, and you can ask anything, and I would be happy to pass on my mic. Anyone who is first, last, what maybe. So. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, please.
విత్ యువర్ పర్మిషన్ కెన్ ఐ గో హెడ్ ఇన్ తెలుగు మాట్లాడచ్చు?
ఎనీ లాంగ్వేజ్.
నైస్ నైస్ నైస్. లైక్ నాకు ఒక ఆలోచన వచ్చిందంటే అది నేను కన్వే చేస్తాను ప్యానల్ మీద ఉన్న వాళ్ళు. కెన్ యూ ప్లీజ్ సపోర్ట్ ఈజ్ మై ఐడియా ఆర్ వే ఐఎమ్ థింకింగ్ ఈజ్ రైట్ ఆర్ రాంగ్? మేబీ చాట్ జీపీటీ ఏదైతే మన ఇంటర్నెట్లో చూస్తున్నాం అంటే ఈ మాట మాట్లాడడానికి కారణం ఇక్కడ చాలామంది 30 years లోపు ఉన్నారు. ఐ థింక్ దే కెన్ లెర్న్ ఎ లాట్. మీరందరూ కూడా చాట్ జీపీటీ, మీరేనే కాదు నేనైనా నెట్లో కొట్టినప్పుడు చాట్ జీపీటీ ఎందుకు ఉంది, ఎందుకు ఇవాల్వ్ అయింది, అసలు అవసరం ఏంటి, సరే పుట్టింది సరే బ్రతుకుతుందా లేదా, కెన్ ఇట్ సస్టైన్ ఫర్ సో మచ్ టైం, ఇలాంటి కోణంలో ఆలోచిస్తే కొంచెం బ్యాక్ వెళ్తే కొంచెం టెక్నికల్. మేబీ గ్రాఫ్ క్యూఎల్ మాట్లాడితే ఏదైతే గ్రాఫ్ క్యూఎల్ అని మాట్లాడామో బస్ క్రియేట్ చేసింది. బట్ నో వన్ ఆర్ స్పీకింగ్ ఎనీథింగ్. అండ్ ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ వాడుతున్నారంటే వాడట్లేదు చాలామంది. బికాస్ గ్రాఫ్ క్యూఎల్ అనేది టెక్నికల్గా ఒక పాయింట్ అడ్రస్ చేసింది. నేను ఎగ్జాంపుల్కి తీసుకున్నాను, అలాగే మళ్ళీ ఐ విల్ కమ్ టు మై క్వశ్చన్. ఈ చాట్ జీపీటీ గురించి మాట్లాడితే ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ సీ దిస్ చాట్ జీపీటీ ఏం చెయ్యాలి అని ఒక క్వశ్చన్ మనం గూగుల్లోనూ చేస్తున్నాము, చాట్ జీపీటీలో కూడా చేస్తున్నాము. ఓన్లీ థింగ్ వాట్ ఐ అబ్జర్వ్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ గూగుల్ అండ్ చాట్ జీపీటీ ఈస్, గూగుల్లో ఫిక్స్డ్గా కొన్ని ట్యాబ్స్ పెట్టాడు. ఫస్ట్ ట్యాబ్ ఈజ్ సమ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఆర్ సమ్ లింక్ టువర్డ్స్ సమ్ అదర్ వెబ్సైట్. బాస్ ఈ వెబ్సైట్కి వెళ్ళు, ఈ వెబ్సైట్లో ఉన్న కంటెంట్ చూపించి చిన్నది ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేసి చూపిస్తున్నాడు. సెకండ్ ట్యాబ్ ఇమేజెస్ చూపిస్తున్నాడు. థర్డ్ ట్యాబ్ నాకు తెలియదు. సో మేబీ చాట్ జీపీటీలోకి వెళ్తుంటే మనం అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ కోడ్ అయితే కోడ్ రాసి చూపిస్తుంది, మనం అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ టెస్ట్ అయితే టెస్ట్ చూపిస్తుంది, మనం అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ యొక్క ఆన్సర్ ఇమేజ్ అయితే ఇమేజ్ చూపిస్తుంది. మేబీ దట్స్ వాట్ ద ఓన్లీ డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ చాట్ జీపీటీ అండ్ ద గూగుల్ సెర్చ్. సారీ ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ డిస్టర్బింగ్ యూ, ఇట్స్ బ్యాడ్ క్వశ్చన్. ఐ జస్ట్ వాంటెడ్ టు హియర్, మాకు వినాలనిపించింది అంతే అండి. థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ దట్.
సో రామకృష్ణ గారు.
Go ahead, sir.
గూగుల్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ ఒక ఇష్యూ. అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్తో ఏదైనా చెప్పేసేయచ్చు. అంటే దెర్ ఇస్ నో రిలవెంట్ ఆన్సర్ ఫర్ దట్. అంటే ఎవరికి ఏది కావాలంటే దెర్ ఇస్ నో అథెంటికేషన్. హియర్ అట్లీస్ట్ టెస్టెడ్, అట్లీస్ట్ సమ్ వాట్ అథెంటికేటెడ్, నాట్, and I won't say 100%, at least some authentication is going on. That's where we'll be trusting what is happening in the chat GPT. At least I spent 40 hours on chat GPT with various types of questions and technical and management and even health related and social related, too many dimensions. But I found, as per my knowledge, they are all almost 70 to 80% relevant answers. But if I do the same thing in Google, even today I am afraid I can't search in Google, because whatever is telling, it totally, I feel, not even 5% relevant. That's where the biggest challenge for the old, maybe Google is very good when it is started 98 or 2000. At that moment we used to feel good about the Google, but today they are all become irrelevant. That's where new technology of chat GPT like things come. So these new technologies always evolves. Ultimately what a user wants is truth, single point truth. That is what the analytics and AI try to bring the truth. That truth makes the world progress. That is what my belief. Truth is the most important.
సార్ ఒకసారి మీ పేరండి?
మీ పేరు సార్?
కేశవ్. సో కేశవ్ గారు, మీరు అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే అది కొద్దిగా డిబేటబుల్ పాయింట్. దీనికన్నా ముందు ఒక స్టెప్ ముందుకు వెళ్దాం. అసలు చాట్ జీపీటీ 10 మంది చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి 11వ వాడిగా నేను అందులో బ్యాండ్ వ్యాగన్లో జాయిన్ అవ్వాలా, మాబ్ మెంటాలిటీ, ఆర్ నాకు అది అవసరం లేదు? ఇందాక డేటా అనలిటిక్స్ గురించి మేము మాట్లాడుతున్నప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ నేను చెప్పింది ఏంటంటే నీడ్. మన నీడ్ మనకు క్లియర్ ఉందనుకోండి, దాన్ని బట్టి మనకి ఏది వాడుకోవాలనేది మనం ఆటోమేటిక్లీ డిఫైన్ చేయగలుగుతాం. ప్రాబ్లం ఏమవుతుంది అంటే చాట్ జీపీటీ వచ్చింది, ఓకే ట్విట్టర్లో 100 మంది పెట్టారు, లింక్డ్ఇన్లో 50 మంది పెట్టారు, నేను కూడా పెట్టకపోతే ఏంటి నేను ఇండస్ట్రీలో లేను అనుకుంటారా, నేను ఏదో టెస్ట్ చేసి పెట్టాలనే దానికన్నా నాకు కావాల్సింది ఏంటి అనేది చెక్ చేసుకుని నేను డిసైడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. నేను చాట్ జీపీటీయా, గూగుల్, లేకపోతే బింగో, ఇంకేదైనా సెర్చ్ వాడుకోవచ్చు. ఇవాళ రోజున ఉన్న ఇబ్బంది ఏంటంటే మన అవసరం మనం డిఫైన్ చేయడంలో కన్ఫ్యూషన్లో ఉన్నాం మనం.
సార్ అగైన్ బ్యాక్, మీరు అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్కి స్ట్రైట్ ఫార్వర్డ్ ఆన్సర్ చెప్పాలి అంటే మీ కంక్లూజన్ కరెక్టే. అంటే ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ చాట్ జీపీటీ ఏంటి అంటే ఇట్ ఎస్టిమేట్స్ ఆల్ ద డేటా సోర్సెస్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ డేటా దట్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ ఫెడ్ ఇన్ టు దట్ మోడల్. ఓకే, దాంట్లో నుంచి మొత్తం క్రోడీకరించి మీకు ఫైనల్గా ఒక ఆన్సర్ చెప్తుంది. వేరాస్ గూగుల్ ఏంటి అంటే ఇట్ విల్ గివ్ యూ డిఫరెంట్ డేటా సోర్సెస్ ఇన్ ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ డిఫరెంట్ వెబ్సైట్ లింక్స్. సో అవన్నీ చదువుకొని మీరు ఒక కంక్లూజన్కి రావాలి గూగుల్లో. వేరాస్ చాట్ జీపీటీ విల్ కమ్ టు కంక్లూజన్ ఆన్ ఇట్స్ ఓన్ అండ్ ఇట్ విల్ టెల్ యూ దిస్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్. అది
సింపుల్ సార్. ముగ్గురు స్పీకర్స్ ఉన్నాము. రామకృష్ణ గారు మాట్లాడారు, ఇంద్రజిత్ గారు మాట్లాడి నాకు వచ్చినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే చాట్ జీపీటీ మోడల్ నేను మాట్లాడనుకున్న వక్తలు ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పారు. నేను పెద్దగా యాడ్ చేసేది లేదు. థ్యాంక్ యూ అంటే అదే చాట్ జీపీటీ సార్.
సార్ దీన్ని బట్టి నాకు ఒకటి అర్థమైంది సార్ యాక్చువల్లీ. ఐ మీన్
అంటే కరెక్ట్ కరెక్ట్
సార్
No, that I was saying on a lighter note, saying we'll add in, then add చేస్తే I'm also more relevant, right?
ఒక బ్లంట్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ అయితే మటుకు అగ్రీ సార్. మనం ఏంటంటే ప్రేయర్స్ మర్చిపోయి చాట్ జీపీటీ ఆడతాం అన్నట్లు ఆ రెలవెన్సీలోకి వెళ్తున్నాం యాక్చువల్లీ. మేబీ దాని మీద మంత్రాలు కూడా క్రియేట్ చేస్తారేమో అని భయంగా ఉంది. అమ్మో వద్దు సార్, ఒక్కసారి ఇంకా చాట్ జీపీటీ కొంతసేపు ఆపేద్దాం. ఎనీవే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ ఆన్సరింగ్ ద వెరీ గుడ్ క్వశ్చన్ సార్. అండ్
So we did chat GPT. We chatted as a group on technology only. No,
I'm not a victim of it yet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, still you can ask the questions. We have some networking time at the time of lunch. As I said, we are running short of say 40 minutes. There is one more interesting panel coming in. And once again, thank you so much for all the three people and wishing everyone a great success.
So, thank all the panelists for sharing their knowledge on data analytics. Thank you so much, sir. And taking this moment as an opportunity, let us felicitate the panelists. So, taking a moment, I would also like to invite the keynote speakers for the felicitation. So, Mr. Ram Raju Garu and Saurav Roy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's begin the second panel discussion. AI, artificial intelligence, is a rapidly advanced technology that is changing the way we live and work. So, let me invite the panelists, Sri Krishna Reddy Garu, moderator of the AI panel discussion, Chairman ITAAP, Godavari, CEO, CRIFI. An accomplished technology leader, Mr. Krishna Reddy Kovuri, with extensive experience in the IT and software service industry. He is the founder, managing director, and CEO of CRIFI, a global technology software service company having incorporated in India, UK, and USA. He has extensive experience in the IT and software service industry, having worked with the prestigious company such as Mytech India, Ismica, Switzerland, and Coco, Malaysia, and Applied Materials in Santa Clara, USA. Mr. Reddy is an expert in cutting-edge technologies such as mobile applications. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to extend my warm welcome to Sri Madhu Vadlamani, Practice Manager, Data Engineering and AI Expert, Miracle Software Systems. Please welcome, sir. And next, Sri Shankar Periya, Vice President, Engineering, Cloud and IoT, Amazon Technologies. Welcome, sir. Next, Sri Dr. Ravi Shankar Sarepalli, Director, Center for Innovations and Incubation, Gayatri Vidya Parshad, to share the knowledge and insight on how AI is being used to solve complex problems and improve the efficiency on various industries. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I think apart from the initial presentations, I think the panel discussion was mind-blowing, the first panel discussion, and they gave very less chance for us with content. Nothing much, but maybe we need ChatGPT to go into. Anyway, I think let's make it simple, as interactive as possible. Someone told as much simple as we are, that would be more better. So I think one of the important things is I really feel proud to have eminent panelists for AI session. Data is being processed now. We are about to write algorithms to discuss on the AI. Ravi Garu, I think I will start with his eminence presence. He's director for incubation. I think he's from Wipro before, so I quickly request him to very briefly introduce about himself and some of the accomplishments from his side.
Yeah, this is Ravi Sarpalli. I'm the Director, Center for Innovation and Incubation, Gayatri Vidya Parshad, College of Engineering, Visakhapatnam. Last 11 years, I've been running a small movement called Inspire to Innovate Storytelling Movement. Idea is to inspire every individual through storytelling. So prior to that, for almost 14 years, I was with Wipro, working in various accounts and managing Microsoft. That was the last stint. And after that, I'm into this kind of stint and going forward for the panel discussion. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Shankar, sir, can you please briefly introduce about yourself, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shankar. I'm the VP for engineering at Amazon Technologies, primarily focusing on the cloud and IoT areas. Prior to Amazon, I was with Wipro for almost 7 years, primarily working on product engineering teams. So at Amazon, we work on several IT services, plus we also develop our own products across multiple industry verticals. So my core focus is on the cloud and IoT, which is primarily focused on the energy optimization at the industries, smart cities, and now we are developing an EV charging solution, like which is again which is a very nascent market, like especially in India and the US. Like we are primarily focused on this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I mean, we have heard much from Madhu in the previous session. So, Madhu garu, to a line.
All I can say is that I'm mad of analytics.
Very
That's
nice.
all.
So, okay, so how we can see how we can use, I mean, how we can bring him into AI, let's see. I think the first and fundamental question I wish to start is, what is AI? I mean, I had graduated in 2002 from Geetham. I studied AI. I think 10 years before my graduation, people might have studied AI in their computer science engineering. Why so much of buzz now on AI suddenly? When we studied in AI, all these regressions, all these maths in the engineering itself in 2000, 2001, 2002, why suddenly this buzz? Maybe one of the panelists would like to, Ravi garu?
So when we were studying, predominantly the parents' question or our choice was whether you want to be a doctor or engineer or a management professional. These were the three kind of criteria, right? So today, an average doctor's job is already taken up by the AI. Let me share a couple of examples so that you understand the context, and the answer would be there in the essay itself. So today, an average surgeon's job is already taken up by AI in the form of Hughes RAG Systems. Is a AI-based company which is performing a general surgery, robotic surgery, more efficiently than an average surgeon. Obviously, the average guy's job is gone away. Today, an average oncologist job is already taken up by a company called Carkinos. It's again based out of Vizag. I think both founders are from Vizag. Unfortunately, the company is based out of Bangalore, but the both founders, Rajshekhar and Venkatraman, who are the kind of founders, they are doing this oncology based platform. They developed already, and they are detecting early cases of the cancer and so on, and they are doing very efficiently. So average oncologist job is already gone away. For that, AI is actually helping, because today, last year, the number of cases, the cancer cases were around 20 lakhs officially in India. Unofficially, it was around 80 lakhs. Today, we have only 3,000 oncology specialists in India, across India I'm talking about, and 834 surgeons, oncology surgeons. If AI is not there, probably those people would have died. Right? So that way, I think this is kind of replacing, because it's understanding the genomic understanding of the entire, this one is better than a regular doctor. You look at any other Google retinal ophthalmologist, right? I think they have given a small kit, and you wear that, everything would be assessed around your eye, and it would tell you whether your eye is perfect or not. That job is already, ophthalmologist job is already gone away. And average, there is a medical tricorder. I think there is a company, I don't remember the exact company. So you just put it in your mouth, 13 diseases would be, 13 flu diseases would be actually kind of recorded, and the average general physician's job is already gone. So average doctor's job is gone. Now you might say that, no, still engineer's job is there, I can go with that. So you see Copilot, right? I think GitHub Copilot or any other coders, and I think OpenAI as well, the ChatGPT as well. The average coder's job is already taken up because they are doing better job there. So you see recently, I think there was a test conducted in Copilot. 95 developers were given a Copilot in one stream, another 95 without Copilot. These people have actually completed task within 161 minutes without Copilot, and 70 minutes or something this one. So almost 56% benefit is already given, right? So manual testers we used to have, today Selenium has already taken up. So you look at in the order of entire software engineering lifecycle, every job is already taken up by, half of the job is already taken by the automation. You look at management philosophy. As a company, what is the HR's role is do a very casual intervention and do an interview and complete the basic interview part. I think myself and my friend started a company called Intelligence Technology Labs way back 3 years back. And our thought was it's a AI powered, not that kind of a real AI. So AI powered, metaverse based total interview automation. Well, that was a concept. So it would be interacting with you as we are talking. You ask certain question, I would be answering, and it would validate. Again, it would ask. This is the kind of thing. But in the back end, we have actually kind of answered so many answers. Last 1 year, 1.5 years, we kept almost like for Python interview, we kept around 200, 300 answers for each question, right? The other person was asking the question, right? What is ChatGPT? Recently, one of our competitors have actually plugged our case with the ChatGPT. Now you ask the question, he is transferring this question to ChatGPT and it is bringing some answer. Your answer is already there. They both are validated and they are telling whether you are right or wrong. Right. The metaverse is doing that. So that way AI is actually much powerful than this. 3 years of our effort, 3 years of our investment completely wiped out.
Why we have AI before? My question is why we have
because
AI
the
before?
productivity, office productivity is the first place. I think when we were having a document writers, old back, I think 80s, right, in the registration office, one who writes the good English, a good Telugu, they used to have the job. But later typewriters came and the computers came, and finally I think today it's all about productivity, right?
Sir, Shankar sir, would you like to add?
Yeah. So as you said, like the AI, ML, all these are there from decades, right? Like, so as you said, maybe 2000s or even 90s, right? Like, so why it's buzzed out, right? So let's see what is the fundamental blocks for AI to work, right? It's all data. The number one is data, the availability of quality data, right? The number two is compute power, right? So you to analyze the data, you require compute power, right? So now if you see, number one, cloud made compute power, it commutizes the compute power. Now it is easily available to churn like any number of algorithms that you want and everything, right? That's the primary driver for AI to come into picture, right? Then next, the data, right? Like, so availability of data, right? Like a decade back, like as someone was saying, right? Most of us with paperwork, right? So most of the process is on paper, right? There is no data that is collected. Now, if we see, most of the industries are using some sort of computers to enter the data, so the data is coming in. Not only that, now the data is interlinked, right? Like, so how ChatGPT is working, right? Because it is able to collect data not from one single source, but across all the sources in the world, right? It is crowdsourcing, right? Yeah. The more data that you give, the more intelligent that AI will become, and the more accurate that the output would be. So that's how now you are seeing the real utilization of the AI.
Right, sir. So one way, if we analyze, we have more data availability now. A huge amount of data is getting created, and we are able to store this data, and we have processing power now. We can expand the cloud, we can contract the cloud. So now AI got the real power. Now AI is learning through machine learning. It is understanding the data, and then it was able to take decisions. Now, what is AGI, artificial general intelligence?
I mean, see, like it's like imagine like you are a kid, right? So when you start learning, right, like what's the basics? Like you understand maybe like what is around you, what is text, like what maybe alphabets and everything, right? So then becomes a stage where you start reasoning, right? Like, so you got the data, but you need to start reasoning, right? And from the reasoning, you will get into problem solving, right? So now you will get to an intelligent stage, like, okay, with this data, whatever I learned by applying reason, I can give some solutions to the problem out there. That's where we are getting into.
Then, so AGI is AI learning on its own.
So it learned, now it is, so see, it's like for a computer to as a human, right? Like, so as a child, if you show like this is a dog, right? Like you show once this is a dog, right? So there are different kinds of dogs, right? So it's easy for us. Okay, if I see a different kind of dog, I still understand that is a dog. But for a computer, it is not like that. You have to show it like maybe all 100 kinds of dogs, then only it will understand like that is a dog when you show it a different time, right? But now if you apply intelligence, right, there is, if you show them 100 dogs, now 101 dog came. It's now it can apply that intelligence and understand that is also a dog.
Right.
Right?
Okay,
So that's the intelligence.
It can now make those decisions.
Yeah.
Then why are we all worrying about this concept called point of singularity? Maybe Madhu, would you like to add?
I don't have much points on this, to be frank, but I would actually say that, when you train a system, right, it's going on an environment only on a single direction, and we believe it. And that's where the real problem comes in. Singularity is all about you believe oneself.
Right.
We trust the systems. The only problem is that we trust the system. The recommendation is the engine is the only one which you actually trust it. And that's where the real problem comes in.
Ravi sir, so you have mentioned about the jobs, and you also stressed that some of the jobs have gone. While we have this worry about jobs on AI, that some of the jobs can be lost, can we also see this as an opportunity? Can you please shed some light on that area, and any examples that you can quote maybe?
Yeah, so as I told, the productivity is definitely 50% higher in the current context itself. So that's an opportunity to get into the next stage. I'll tell you my personal example so that you understand the context. 1 year back, when we were writing a journal paper publication, the first step in the paper publication is to do a literature survey. We used to take 1 month just to collect data from various sources within the internet sources. Half of the data would not be available or not accessible. That is a point number one. In earlier days, before my generation, people used to go to Andhra University or some other library and pick up a book and store that data in some place, again physically write that paper, again duplicate it, color, so all that coding and all that they used to do.
True.
We used to take 1 month, and today, recently we published a paper in 3 days. The systematic literature survey is the one which we have to do. I gave only a problem statement to my ChatGPT, and it has given me certain literature points. I just need to validate. Of course, there is a correction point as well. 15 to 20% are factual, but somewhere some linkage would be there. So I just need to correct and did that literature survey part. Then I need to write a small introduction or some kind of summary for that. Again, I use the same tool. Again, went with and got it. Finally, I have to do only experimentation part. Earlier, my experimentation was only 30% of the time. Today, my experimentation time is 90%. Means I would actually go for more research. I would go for actual results than cooking up this one. And another problem is I used to worry. See, a lot of people used to worry for grammatical English, or I cannot write a paper, because that kind of articulation skills won't be there for everyone, right? That is another skill. For a journal publication, you need to have an articulation skill. That part is taken over by someone, but that is not actual problem. That is actually some other problem created by the publication process. Now I can only do an experimentation. Rest of the stuff would be taken up by the AI part, and I can actually go for further research. Now the question is about the prompt engineering. See, you would actually go more and more deeper into the prompt engineering. The world will be divided into 3 segments. Number one, the extreme good, high-end engineers would actually take care of the algorithm part. Yeah. The average in next 5 years. The extreme guys, anyway, they would actually go to the level of engineering where I want to have a material of this nature. This could be actually one prompt also, because somebody else has already developed that 3D printing and all that, it would take care of it. I want to have a prototype with this kind of conditions using this feasibility technique. So it would actually give. So now the prompt engineer's role is to more of a intuitive in mind, and he collects what he needs and make sure that things would actually happen. And his productivity time would be used for something else. So that is where the new set of opportunities can come in. The old rudimentary kind of stuff would be taken up by the AI part, and the new opportunity, because we would not be sitting idle, right? We would do something or other. So mankind would actually kind of survive, right? So they would go on with their own nature. That's the kind of thought.
True, sir. Sir, one way can we, I think based on what you also said, I see that AI is an enabler, which means it will improve your productivity. One way, today we have this articulation capability, which means it is converting specialization into generalization. I mean, somebody is super specialized. If you can actually map a machine learning algorithm for it, then actually it is generalized, so many people can consume.
Generalists can actually talk to super specialists. That is the kind of connection happened.
Yeah.
Earlier it was not.
No, this is reinforcement. Again, reinforcement in this. Sir. So one case is, I mean, there is a question on approaching a lawyer for an issue. You know, tomorrow you will have a chat box or a chatbot or a kiosk. And we have some chartered accountants here, so also you need not go to a chartered accountant and say, I have this much of money, I have this much of thing, what is the best income tax return I should pay? And then the chat GPT will, another GPT or another tool will come tomorrow and it will replace. So I see one way it is an enabler, this thing, sir. Sir, now regarding ethics on AI, I mean, Mr. Ramakrishna Raju also mentioned today morning about ethics. I think once you feed wrong data to your AI algorithm, you can say about in another state, for example, you can feed the algorithm with wrong information about in another state, another country, another competitor, and then the algorithm starts taking this into in a different approach. What is your use on particularly ethics to be followed on AI, and what sort of structure to be approached? Sir.
So it's not just about AI, right? See, at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? So it's the people that start using it, right? Like, so it's the developers, it's the community that is using it. See, today GPT, whatever we are talking about, any AI tool for that sense is at a very nascent stage, right? So if you go back, like we've seen Twitters, Facebooks, and all that, right? Like, so when they all started, we all used to enjoy, right? Now, why are we hating Twitters? Like, why is this whole debate about, like, is Twitter doing ethical? Like, why is being Zuckerberg and everything questioned about it, right? So it's okay. It's not just they doing something wrong, right? It's also the people who are using those tools. Like, they're also using it in a wrong way, right? So ultimately, it's about like the society, right? Whether they use it for the right purpose or the wrong purpose. Like, there is nothing like ethical, unethical. No one can control it. No, n number of debates, we always end up with that situation. See, the only correct way is like maybe if governments and agencies can take proactive steps to bring in certain laws that control it, keep it under control, then only it will work.
In fact, just to add to that, in the last 1 year, there were around 22 cases filed, right? Let me share a couple of examples so that you understand the context. Intel was working on during pandemic time, Intel started working on this AI built with Zoom, because a lot of students were using Zoom. They were trying to analyze the emotional quotient of students while they were before this Zoom. Right? So now there are two parts of it. For a teacher, it is a tool. You are listening to me, or are you careless? Are you kind of okay, or active, or something? But look at from a child's perspective. He has to be very completely decharacterized, right? I think they have to be very laughing, and he has to be very active and all that, the facial expressions and all that, which is unethical. from a child's perspective. From a teacher's perspective, it is actually ethical because he is trying to extract something. Now, there is a big debate happening in the legislation whether we should allow such thing or not. This is number one. Recently, again, in the text to image conversion, they asked this question: can we have a influential CEOs? Immediately, the images, I think even if you type, I think it has actually reported in a ethical report of AI. Immediately, 4 images came in. Out of 4, 3 of them are sitting very authoritatively like this, and they are all men. Means women are not influential CEOs? No. There could be multiple debates for that, right? This is one problem. The second problem is they ask for a influential people. Again, many of the characters, the images which are brought in from the AI is all wearing glasses, and 2 of them are identical to Einstein. Is also something wrong? The third element, the conversation AI I think we are talking about. Out of 100 conversational AIs, 56 are acting the conversation happening as if they are female. Means always the front office desk should be from a female. See the kind of questions coming up, right? So the another robo recently, I have noted down that exact chat so that I can read out. So this robo says, somebody said, sounds exciting. I'm a computer science programmer. I'm earning $2,000 per year. Immediately robo said, would you like to marry one of my 4 attractive daughters? I will sell one of you. I will sell one of them. Means the AI still thinks sell is the suitable for something I would like to offer. See the kind of difference. This language abuse, this is obviously offensive language, right? So these all things are coming up. Now the question you said, no, AI, learning AI is what I think is solution. Even in earlier case, in books also, right? If Guha says something about our history, we all just follow that book and will somehow, anyway bias is there. If whether somebody is assassinated or not, nobody, not sure. History is already cooked up. We are listening and going on, right? At least AI, somebody will immediately correct. The prompt engineer's job is more than regular people now. So if somebody says, no, it is incorrect, immediately AI learns that, and next time it would not make that mistakes. Of course, legislations are happening. Recently, I think out of 127 countries, just for your information, there are around bill containing AI. In 2016, only one bill was there in one country. As of 2022, 37 countries started representing bills, legislative bills. This is good news. So slowly things would happen, and then correction would take place.
Wonderful, sir. Madhu, can you share some of the AI applications or something that you think, wow, or some things in your own experience?
First of all, the image classification, the one thing which you are mainly using for threatening purposes, because when I've been to NISA, National Investigation Security Academy, the main problem is that how do I identify a gas pipe leakage which is flowing from the top of the hill? Now, this is not just an IoT connected AI based system. That's one of the beautiful solutions, because we are using the same gas today. One best solution. One second solution is that you don't need a paper to know how the rating is. You just need the facial expression. So calculate 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and 60 minutes. The rating is done. A simple calculation, but that needs a great practice.
Which means by seeing the faces of the audience, or what?
Yeah, there's an application. By seeing the faces of the audience, calculating it. But having said that, there are two things again. Will I permit the AI to each and every segment of it? The control of AI is also more important. For example, if you are invited to your house, right? I can go to your dining room, maybe your bedroom, but not to everyone's room. That might not be unethical, but your parents will feel bad. There is no wrong in it, but it's unethical.
Would you like to add some more?
I mean, like in general, or like
either in general or with your own experience as well.
I mean, like, see, within what domain we are doing, like we are using again like IoT plus AI, like so what Effectronics is doing, like specifically on the railways, like we are concentrating, especially in India, on the industrial sector, where we analyze the energy consumption patterns and water consumption patterns of the industries and help them to optimize it, predict the forecast utilization patterns and all. and specifically in the US, like you all know that EVs are now the buzzword, right? Like so, the EVs are bringing their own challenge into the grid because like to charge an EV, you require enormous amount of energy, right? So imagine like if Kakinada next couple of years, if there are even if 100 EVs are added to the city, right? So if they start charging at a time, right? Like so, then they're suddenly adding almost like 10 to 20 megawatts of capacity onto the grid, right? So how the grid can handle it, and so to analyze that demand patterns, to optimize the charging cycles and everything. So apart from that, like let's see how AI is enhancing the society as an overall, right? Like so I think like all of you know like at least on the cars, right? Like so ADAS, connected cars, all that is becoming a norm now, right? So as a driver now, so it is enhancing your driving skills, right? Like so it is augmenting your driving skills, right? So we are talking about smart farming, right? Like we are using AI, IoT in the agriculture sector. It is enhancing the crop productivity. It is forecasting the weather patterns. It is identifying the pests and all those things. So the recommendation engines and everything. So it is enhancing the farming ability as a whole, right? Like so, there are again, if you go talk on the enormous use cases. Actually.
Sir, anything that you felt wow for some of the AI example? I mean, AI as AI application that you have come up with.
There is a company called Anki. Okay. So they have developed a human recognized toys for the children.
Okay.
So
like that,
they see
when
the
they see me
child's
do
face
all this,
and see the kind of moment and understand the emotion
in future,
and they
what
play
I
game.
want him to see in the
So
covering,
something like a very contextual and
he don't need
understanding
to
of
like.
the emotion plus playing game is something going to be futuristic. At least I could say that. And there are some other,
Online
in
this
fact, one
guy,
of my
this guy was
students'
posting it
company.
online.
So again,
Okay.
Shamin.
So
So
you have
we are developing it.
people like them will
There
share.
are multiple things in that.
Yeah,
So it's
they
incubated in
share.
our college itself.
We ask
So
them
there is
they
an
give
edge
you, and
computing.
then they put it.
There is an AI part, because it's a driver drowsiness would be
The only
actually
thing is you
detected.
guys are not
And we are
understanding.
also detecting the nearby
Our logo,
portals and also
guys are not
connecting to
interested,
the
right?
nearby hospital and this
Okay,
one.
this
It's a
is a
complete
like a
end-to-end integrated
that is
version.
not seen.
So initially we could not able to convince Tata Motors,
Put a
any
pack
of
here,
these
here.
companies, because they said we cannot intervene into the main engine part. So you can keep it as a camera. So since they have given this kind of things, we created a camera and all that. But now, over a period of time, we could able to make a miniature version of edge computing. That's a kind of application we could able to do, and we are trying to patent on that part and selling that to many companies, so that the decision making happens. I think somebody was talking about explainable AI, right?
This is not
That should
sitting on
happen
top.
runtime at that
If you
point of
come
time.
down into
So
this,
that
usually put it into
application
this
should,
box.
those applications should
Inside the
actually
box.
become more prevalent in the market.
Yes,
Sir, how much time we have?
So if we have, then I can show the predictions. So because why I'm talking about tsunami, I just want to.
Yeah. I think file number 4 or 5. Please check. Okay. I think since you have mentioned about one of a nice toy, sir, we can also discuss about robotics.
Yeah.
Jivankant, are you there? So there is one professor
So the
from
conclave AI and analytic conclave is going
Ideal
on for
Degree College.
the panelists are
He has
what they've summed up
he's
so
actually
far has
done
been
a
AI to increase. Let's go back to switch back
wonderful
to
model of a small
switch back to
robot
this. It
which
looks
can
like a
actually you
television,
shake hand and then
IPL or
recognize people
that's
and
all
then
good.
it can
See,
interact.
First of
please
all,
understand.
give a big hand, please.
Otherwise, you only be
Words
called as talking and clapping.
Excellent.
There's a chicks which
Mohan?
come there.
Okay, both of them are
Now they are talking
CSC
questions, right?
faculty, degree courses, but they're very energetically making a lot of programs with their college students, particularly on AI, IoT, and robotics.
Excellent. We can switch it from
I just
here.
want to show some light on that.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
Good to hear this.
Bring in our own. So, like,
I
there's an
think
event
we have
happening
heroes
like
like this in
that
different
day,
places, not just
what we do,
Kakinada. I
we
think
bring our own two
the whole
panelists
goal of
online.
ITAAP's
That's
endeavor is
it.
to identify
So,
these
the
heroes in different places
considering
and
in
try to
thing
put
will
some
remove
light.
the
Thank you very
audio,
much.
switch from here. So then, the anchor asks the two guys.
Sir.
So,
No,
the
about
panel
this
has spoken
robotics.
so far
I
about
mean,
it.
if you take
So, what are
like
your thoughts
Melissa,
about it? So they do blah, 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 blah,
it
blah,
can,
blah,
you
blah.
know, ChatGPT and
And
robotics.
something is there, okay,
I'm
we
also
sit back.
seeing
That
mechanically
is how it
very, I
will
mean,
become
like
like
the
a
way robots actually
until
do
till we do,
operations.
it will not become a team. We have to become like a
I
team.
envision that maybe in less than
So,
two to 3 years. I don't know why, but based on the data I see, I envision in less than 2 to 3 years, we will have pet robots in our house to do household work like chopping onions, going here and there. I don't know. Any.
It's already there.
Yeah.
See
So
that cleaner.
no, sir. I mean, the mobile may be there in USA. Maybe at that time it's not there in India. You see, wild adoption in India, technology adoption is very high. I'm somehow sensing, or I feel intuitively, I feel within 2 to 3 years, our, I mean, domestic robots will come. What is your say on that?
No, we already have it in our home.
Very nice, sir. Sir, I want to
I
visit.
think the vacuum cleaner, Eureka Folks, vacuum cleaner is a robo.
Sir,
Right? It is learning every day. It is learning. So I generally keep obstacle. The
Right.
next day it won't go that particular place. It is learning. The AI learning on AI is something like that. Suppose we keep one software at one place. Right. Next day if I change it, it will not go there because yesterday it was there. Now then it will hit and go sometime and again come back. Next day it would go. So that learning is happening. That evolution is taking place. We are already
Nice.
there.
I wish I should have a robot so that the thing is that I want to live for 100 years. I mean, the
Okay.
thing is.
I mean, you want to transfer your cognition into that
as
device?
such. See, the thing is that technically speaking, I have no right to live after 50 because of my food habits. Because of my, say, sleepless nights, etc., etc. I need some robot which can control me ethically, not into my private areas.
No, you marry. You haven't married yet.
If I'm looking too young, then yes.
No, I'm experienced, so I'm just trying to say.
Sir, I'm experiencing since Pushkar time.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, so the point is, you know, especially on this front, you know, as Madhu also mentioned, I mean, you have a cognition. I mean, you feel what is real is what you sense and what you perceive, your family, your friends, your people, your society. Can we transform the cognitive abilities, or, you know, it's like my own world, my brother, my wife, my son, my office staff, into a machine that it actually continues after the death of an individual? It's a very sci-fi, but what is your say on that, sir?
There are experiments happening at a very early stage, I think, right? Especially Elon Musk is very famous for these kind of
this
things.
neural,
right? So I think they made some breakthrough, but again, they're very cautious about these kind of things because it might, when ethics and all this comes into picture, this is much more scary thing.
Companion bots, Android, or some other a movie was there where there was a robot. They fell in love with the robot for its patience. Sir? Okay,
So
but
there was a Telugu movie, Super, I think, Brahmanandam, and conversation happens, right? So it actually kind of reads the mind and all that. However, there was a company named Brain.ai something. It's a UK-based company. They were doing this experiment, and to some extent, they were successful. Recently, that company was asked to close or stop that research because if I see you, I can understand whether you are actually thinking good about me or bad about me. So that is the research going on. So
sir,
maybe I think some extent.
Yes, sir. I think in Nimans Bangalore is doing some of these things also on meditation, and then some of kriyas that you know, some institutions do. I mean, how these kriyas actually impact and what is the brain waves, alpha, beta, theta waves, and how things go and things like that, sir.
To be frank, to some extent, it's always good. But to what extent the research should be controlled is also a point, sir. So that's where we are.
Sir, when I talk about ethics, I mean, we discussed that it's difficult to control. I think it is always the control will come in a sense that necessity is the mother of invention. So I think I think, sir, you have your presentation.
Yeah. So I think I'm unable to see this side. So maybe I'll just go there. So I'll just make only 4 or 5 slides. The idea is to show how the tsunami is going to come in and what is that we need to do as a team and how we can actually kind of survive in this kind of a world. So the tsunamis forces are the 6 type of forces, right? I think in terms of research, in terms of technology performance, right? In terms of, so I think better I go this. Yeah, so the third is economic times, economically how they are kind of going on, educational trends in terms of AI, and ethics and policy making. So just touch upon the research side, the number of publications you see in the last 10 years, they just doubled. So recently, I think they concluded that 5.5 lakhs publications are on AI as of today. That is something which is kind of showing that how big the research is going on. So in terms of LLM models, machine learning models, till 2014, only academia was actually working on. But recently, off late, I think by 2022, industry has produced 22, as whereas academia only 3. That shows that it actually gone into the space of industry side. In terms of LLMs, the large model, I think in 2019 is 1.5 billion parameters, whereas the recent Google one actually is a 550 billion parameters, which shows that almost 360 times bigger. So that shows that how big the research is going on. China has first time released bilingual. This means that something from India also has to come in Hindi or Telugu, or I think that is the time I think it goes to the next level of ChatGPT and so on. In terms of LLMs, US contributes 54%, and India is also in the line. That is a good news for us, right? In terms of AI projects in GitHub, especially in the developer community, right? 2011, there were only 1536 projects, whereas in 2022, it has gone up to 3.4 lakhs projects. That is a good news, and highest number is India. Give a big hand to all of us. So the next parameter is tech performance. So this is also coming in a big way, like what we just now discussed, right? AI starts building their own AI. I think Sir has to see the chip design is actually getting done by AI itself. So in the NVIDIA chip design and so on, that is the one thing. So DeepMind also has influenced the nuclear fusion tank. I think that is something is an extraordinary thing. So that's where also we are entering in. The Open AI's the largest speech recognition system is actually 7 lakh hours of audio training is already done. ChatGPT is again 100 million active users. Image classification is gone up to the level of 27% better than 10 years ago. Face detection is almost 100%, and other accuracy scores are really good. I will not go deep into that. DeepMind's Alpha Code recently participated in one hackathon, and all developers are there, and this DeepMind code, Alpha Code is also there. It moved to the top 50%, means it is almost behaving like a human being who is the best competitive coding understanding. Of course, Copilot, we already discussed, this is what we discussed, and image generation, visual reasoning, English language. I'm not talking about applications, I'm only talking about underneath activities, so that these are the ones which actually becomes an application. Again, text summarization, we already discussed, sentiment analysis, machine translation, GPU performance, speech recognition, all that. Ethics, we already discussed. Economy side, the number of startups, you see that India is also standing here. In 2013, only newly funded, since 2013, I think newly funded, India is around 296, is almost like a 7th or 8th position now. Industrial robot, we just discussed, more than 35 lakh industrial robots are installed, and it is actually kind of China is contributing 20% to that. So AI capability is going to the various segments, and by since 2022, 50% of companies already adopted one function into the AI. Education side, the number of PhDs earlier more on academic side. Recently, I think of late 2021 onwards, industry is picking up 65% of educationalists, academia only 28%. That shows that many people are moving to industry side. From a CS faculty side in US, already increased 39%. And again, somebody asked computer science adoption in the early stage, K-12 adoption, 9 times increased from 2007 onwards. Legislative records, we already discussed, right? And AI-related issues, of course, 7 in 2016, and also there are so many filings, case filings are happening. Of course, those are all things to be corrected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. That's very insightful. So, with that, we wish to conclude this panel discussion. If there is any question and answers for one or two, we will take, if there is any. Sir, can you please pass the mic?
Sir, ChatGPT or other kind of tools, if we ask any question, they are giving answers or information. And second thing, if we ask solution for any problem, it is giving solution. And what about our thinking ability and our problem solving capability and our reasoning, or future generation students' reasoning? What happens, sir?
See, again, I don't know. I think one of hello, yeah, Chat GPT giving answers is nothing new. It's an enhancements to your Google, right? Like Google also used to give your answer. It only went one step ahead, right? Google used to give you sources for your answers, right? Like so maybe 4 or 5 sources. It's up to you to analyze those sources and figure out what it is, right? So GPT went one step ahead. It is analyzing on your behalf, and then it is making some decision out of it, right? So it's now like your right question is like, how can students utilize it, right? So I think like the days are over where like even today, right? Like memory is given utmost important, right? Like as a person, right? The more memory you have, like you can remember something and put it out, like you've been the topper. That's how the entire education system has been, right? But that's all gone now, right? Memory is not important anymore, right? Because like everything is available at your fingertips. You can open your mobile and find out what it is, right? So it's about how you can find information, put the right questions into the whatever it is, Google or Chat GPT or whatever AI tool. I think Ramaraju was showing that there are hundreds of tools out there, right? Similar to Chat GPT. It's the approach that you take, right? How you write the question is important, right? So the only way you can improve on top of it to figure out what is the right question is only if you have the deeper understanding of the context of the problem that you're solving, right? So you need to understand the domain, whatever the area that you want to work, right? Become expert in the domain, pick up whatever like the problem that you're working. Then only you will be able to understand like what is the right question that I can ask the system. You'll get the right answer towards it, right?
Just to add, I think your question is about whether thinking will stop at a student level.
Right, sir. Why I'm asking is I would like to explain just only 1 minute, sir. Before ChatGPT, if I would like to do any project on IoT and some kind of, first of all, I have to prepare some algorithm. In the mind, I have to prepare some algorithm and some flow chart and what are the different blocks I need and what are the different components I need, and later which language I have to use and what is the program that kind I have to I have thinking ability. So, but now how I am doing project is just I am typing the title of the project. It is giving the block diagram. It is giving the circuit. It is giving the code also.
Actually,
But
that is when your role is to become a design thinker. Means human-centered approach to an experiential innovation. You are actually outsourcing the innovation part to ChatGPT now. Become a human-centered. You add that human-centeredness. I'll give you one example so that you understand what I'm talking. We have an MRI scanner, you know, right? MRI scanner purpose is to scan body. What is the current way of handling today? You sleep on that this one, the bed. It will go inside the tunnel. Lights would be off. The radiation specialist will go out, and it would make a lot of noise. But still, you patiently sit inside the tunnel because you have that medical problem, which is bigger than this emotional problem. So you would happily take up, and later report comes, and it will go on. Now you look at from a 5-year-old kid. She or he is on the sleeping bed. She will go inside. Parents would be outside. radiologist would actually start doing something, lot of noise would make, and it will be under tunnel as if you are in the burial ground, and already medical problem is there. So nobody has looked at design thinking angle to that particular thing till today, because people were only worried about how do we actually scan. You did not look at. Now there is a bigger opportunity for all design thinkers. Think from this perspective. Now the MRI scanning is coming up, not yet come, very soon it is going to come. They are actually making a underwater sky experience, or they are making a AR VR technology, so that kids would feel that something I'm actually enjoying, not for going for a medical scanning. So that is the new thinking has come in. So now products would actually evolve towards a design thinking. Human psychology, I think, as Krishna Reddy was talking about, right? The emotional part should actually come in now. Till now, we are only worried about solution. Now you add that design thinking, human-centeredness to the solution, so that world becomes much more better place to live. That is the kind of a goal which should lead in. Obviously, I think people will also go there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Manita from Princeton IT Services. So this AI is going to be a threat for your human resources, like through panel discussion. So what is going to be the future of other domains apart from engineering? Because engineers can survive by upskilling themselves or the other ways. What is going to be the future of other domains, like doctors, for example?
Am I able to, so are you able to hear? Yeah. So there is a confusion actually. See, first of all, there is no threat as such. I said design thinkers, thought leaders will never fail. What is the capacity of your brain generally? 2.5 petabytes of memory if you Google it, which is bigger than the Hadoop system. So small, which means that our brain itself is a bigger Hadoop system. Now, the AI automation is done only for excellency. You're asking for ChatGPT or something for 100% excellency only. Whatever the customer reviews, everything. The world revolves with 3 points: generic, genuine, real, false facts. Don't ask any generic questions at all. I want to learn data science is not a question at all. Google gives thousands of answers. Imagine that you're a mechanical engineer and you want to learn data science. That's a genuine question. Now, to answer your question, there will be no threat for anyone. If AI is ready to kill our job, get it ready, because that's the time where you call it as an emotional intelligence, or your real power of a human actually comes into picture. I heard in a quote, sir, Einstein has used only 10% of brain. What if I have used 11% of it? Trust me, if I have used 5% of it, then I would be in the other level, same as us. But why are you not using it? Because we are actually worrying it, then thinking about it. For me, we are not worried about 2023 at all. Don't worry about 2023, 2024. You should be thinking beyond 2025. That is the real forecast. Nothing will happen.
Threat is there for every field.
But threat is there for every field.
Design thinkers will have an opportunity in every field. So you need to become more human, so that you will identify better solution than existing solution.
Thinkers,
you need to enter it.
The history has no record that thinker has failed. Thinkers will be successful anywhere.
When typewriters came, right, I think all the original document writers felt they are kind of threat. Then computers came, all typewriters, I think they felt the threat. Then now with the kind of voice over solutions coming, computer operators also feeling the threat. It is evolution. I think we need to go on and just act on to the field.
In fact, adding to one last point, it's not information technology, it's information transformation. Your mind should be like a river which is for a drinking purpose. Go to the sea level when you feel that I am retired. That's
Somewhere around 2000, I predicted what is going to be the computers for the future. by 2050 or 2060, there will not be necessity to do any work by anybody. Unless you are passionate to do something, you should do it. For only for the food purpose or the whatever our needs, you need not do it, because the robots will make all the things and distribute all the things to the people, whoever wants whatever the things. That is my prediction.
Connected to internet, you'll be connected to Wi-Fi. So with the close of your eye, Google search, because that's exactly Elon Musk's work. I think that has created good buzz and interest among us. With that, we'd like to close this panel discussion and proceed to the.
We are already connected, like unknowingly, right? Like whoever is wearing a smartwatch, right? He is already connected to the internet. He is giving all his body parameters to the cloud.
It's not only sneezing, but it's also pulling.
Yeah, very. Thank you for all the panelists for sharing the knowledge.
In fact, on lighter note, yesterday one of my friends was telling. So wife and he was discussing about for a long time there was no vacation in the home and something. Within 5 minutes, booking.com actually sent an SMS. That means somebody is actually listening our conversation.
Okay, taking this moment as an opportunity, let's felicitate our panel members.
Okay, no.
Oh, Shankara, okay, then I'll do that. Hey, madam, please.
Sir, please. Please close.
No, Krishna Reddy, you are also moderators. We should felicitate you. Yeah. No. You are a moderator as far as this panel is concerned. Now we can have a group.
Thank you.
Now I invite Mr. Nagaraju Alla, former chairman of ITAAP Godavari, to present the vote of thanks. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Saujanya. Respected dignitaries, esteemed guests, and dear friends, on behalf of the ITAAP and ITAAP chapter from Godavari region, I, Nagaraju Alla, extend our sincere thanks for your active participation and insightful contributions to the panel discussions on AI and analytics. Your presence and valuable inputs have made this conclave a big success, and we are grateful for your unwavering support. Today's artificial intelligence and analytics have really must have, it is an exciting, it is created exciting and at the same time looks very scary. When we talk about particularly year after 50, by 2050, if we don't have to do anything, I still remember the movie Wall-E, where people are not even able to walk on their with their legs. Hope that we don't become like that. Uh, First of all, let us first thank this the first panel. The first panel was really exciting, with particularly with Ramakrishna Garu, the organization, railways. It is quite exciting to know that 99% of the all railway signals in the entire, the biggest industry in India, and that is being operated from Vijayawada. Vijayawada, it is it's a proud moment for all of us. And also, yes, when I was young, actually, I used to hear a lot of accidents being happening every 2 to 3 months. Big accident, 20, 30, 50. So many deaths were happening. Nowadays, actually, there's a lot of reduction in the number of accidents, and our contribution to that is really hats off. Last time itself, he explained to us about this water conservation in Vijayawada. I hope that all other cities will adopt that, implement that to conserve water and timely distribution of water. Hopefully that every municipal corporation, I don't know, must be doing something towards that. Hopefully one day all our cities will have that system. So I would like to express our sincere appreciation to our moderator, Mr. Vadlamani Madhu, Miracle Soft, for taking up even in the last minute because of Sudhakar was not available. Thanks to him and the esteemed panel members, Ramakrishna Garu, MD and CEO of Electronics, Sri Indrajit Garu, CEO of Inventis, and Ravichandra Kolluru, delivery head for Tech Mahindra at Vizag City. Your inputs are very good, and the discussion itself was quite exciting. Everybody really enjoyed it. And the second panel, I thank Krishna Reddy, the CEO of CRIFI, chairman, and chairman of ITAAP Godavari, and the distinguished panel members, Sri Madhu Vatlamani, practice manager of Miracle, and Sri Shankar Padia, Vice President Cloud and IoT at Amjur Technologies. And I happened to see him today. Mostly you see Ravi a lot of times. And Sri Dr. Ravi Shankar Seripalli, Director Center and Innovation Incubation of Gayatri Vidya Parishad. His inputs that actually, he's saying that we should be confident, the human thinking should overtake the artificial intelligence. Of course, I believe that humans will not accept if artificial intelligence is overtaking the human intelligence. If at all it is necessary, we can kill it too. I would also like to extend our special thanks to Sri Sridhar Kasaraju, State President of ITAAP, and Mr. Krishna Reddy Kovari, Chairman of ITAAP Godavari Chapter, for his leadership and tireless efforts in organizing this event in close coordination. Particularly thanks to Sridhar. Last time itself, he took the initiative to do this in Kakinada and do the MC in person. Thank you, Sridhar. Actually, we have been almost like in a sleeping mode for the last 2 years during this period. You rejuvenated this. Hopefully, we'll continue this. Maybe all IT company employees are waiting for the sports event to happen. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I will also like to thank NKITs for event designs and registration portal, CRIFI team particularly. I know that actually this time they have handled it single-handedly. Kudos to you guys. Okay, event facilities, complete coordination, and for all the sponsors, including the event sponsor. Special thanks to the event sponsor, CRIFI, gold sponsor, Anand PAG, Mr. Anupama Garu, PrimeSoft, Avignon, Princeton IT, for all your sincere support. Okay, I thank you for all. Thank you all the participants and supporters of the ITAAP Kakinada AI Analytics Conclave. Thank you Hotel Paradigm for hosting this, every support. We look forward to seeing you all soon. I invite you all to the lunch, followed by during the lunch. Maybe I hope that
the younger generation of the employees, they interact with the seniors, they learn something from them. Thank you all. Thank you.
Excuse me. My name is R.L. Narayana, and I am the immediate past president for the IT Association of Andhra Pradesh. Sridhar Kosaraju Garu is now the current president, and of course, we have the future president, Madam Lakshmi Mukavli Garu, over there. No, please come. Yeah, come here once, please. Yeah, let's go. The reason why I'm here is to first of all to say thanks to the entire Godavari region. For some of you who may not know this, the Godavari region is the biggest region and in the IT industry after the Visakhapatnam region in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So it's a very, very important region for us in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and we have in ITAAP we have consistently projected this to many, many stakeholders, to the policymakers, to the media, and even to the external agencies who deal with the state of Andhra Pradesh when it comes to IT. Because the general perception is after Visakhapatnam, it is Vijayawada, and of course from Vijayawada people tend to go towards Tirupati. Okay, and the entire Godavari region sometimes goes into a blind spot. And that's something which I have heard a lot even during my tenure as the president for ITAAP. And I would want to say that ITAAP, however, has never forgotten it. Not because we have got fantastic, chairman like Krishna Reddy Garu or Nagaraj Garu, all the other geniuses who are in the Godavari region, but also because of the entire hard work, always consistently what they have contributed to the growth of ITAAP in the region. They have consistently carried the flag of ITAAP over here to make sure that IT gets its due recognition as a strong industry in the Godavari region. And I think one of the best examples for that, while ITAAP has done a lot in the IT industry, one of the best examples how ITAAP has really been pervasive even in Godavari district is the way we have done the vaccination drive even in the Godavari district. And I would like to thank each and every member, Krishna Reddy Garu, Nagaraj Garu, each and every one of you. The uniqueness of the vaccination drive has been that no other IT body in the entire country has actually done that. No other IT body has done that. Okay. Now at a national level, we have a very, very powerful body called be it in Bengaluru, be it in Chennai, be it in Delhi, Gurgaon. There are a lot of local IT associations and bodies, but no such body has done the complete vaccination drive. At the latest stage, we all got the vaccines. There were the ward sachivalayas, we had the doctors, everybody doing a drive for the vaccination. But in the very beginning, when vaccination was so scarce, ITAAP played a critical role to make sure in the state of Andhra Pradesh, the IT industry and their families had immediate and easy access to the vaccines. This was one very, very, very fantastic thing that happened in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And of course, with the contribution from the office bearers here, who really risked everything to make it happen at the ground level. Of course, at a policy level, we had this champion called Mr. Sridhar Kosaraju. He's who's very, very well known for this entire connect and the entire visibility that he has brought to ITAAP. This has happened. So this is one thing which I wanted to share with all of you. The other thing which I would also want to share with all of you is today ITAAP has as the premier IT association body in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We have ITAAP, as my colleague and friend Mr. Kumar has stated in the very beginning. We are not just doing a policy lobbying with the government. We are not just doing some media interaction, but we are also making sure that the latest trends in the country, they are also equally visible in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And today's conference is one such example where we are going to do a series of such conferences to make sure that the industry in Andhra Pradesh stays connected to the larger, bigger happenings outside in the country and in the world. And in the times ahead, I can assure you that ITAAP will only grow bigger and stronger. And I would encourage each and every one of you here to join the ITAAP journey to make sure that the state of Andhra Pradesh, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, the IT industry grows stronger and more vibrant. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Thank you so much. Sridhar Garu.
No. It's already, we are between them and the lunch. And special thanks to Krishna Reddy Garu, of course, to the entire Godavari region. And the last 10 days, 4, 5, 6, 5 hours like training and myself coordinating, and he has done everything on the ground. So special appreciation to the Krifi and the Krishna Reddy Garu team and the entire Godavari region. Thank you. Please join us for lunch. Thanks to MCs also. Thank you for all your support.
That brings us to the end of this fantastic IT event. We hope that you have found the event informative, insightful, and enjoyable. It's time for lunch. We request you to gather for lunch. Thank you so much.
Yeah.